1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Inbound LeBron, he will hold in the right corner. The clock winding down. And the horn sounds here in LA, and the Timberwolves have defeated the Lakers 103-96. They close out the series in 5 games. And for the first time in franchise history, the Timberwolves have advanced to the second round of the NBA playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
Thank you, Timberwolves Radio, for that. Lakers in 5. What? No, Timberwolves in 5. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and we will have plenty of time to talk about the T-Wolves and whoever their next opponent is going to be, whether it's Golden State or Houston. But, Pearl, today the postmortem on the LA Lakers and what is a wild season ends extremely flat. You owe Rudy Gobert a gigantic apology.
I do not. I do not.
But anyway,
apologize.
Perloff owes apologies. He's like doling them out like he's a blackjack dealer at the table.
Do you know how bad Rudy Gobert was in the series in the first 3 games?
But how good was he last night? But anyway, we have plenty of time to talk about.
But that's about
Rudy.
the Lakers because the Lakers stink.
Okay, well, that's actually the point.
I'm gonna knock your ass out.
That's really the point we want to get on here. We will talk about Rudy's redemption game in just a moment with 24 rebounds, 9 on the offensive side. But LeBron and Luka, whether it's because Luka's back injury flared up in this game, whether it's because LeBron just hit a wall and he actually banged knees at one point in this game, they were both not good. And on their home floor in a game 5 facing elimination, I expected more from those two guys, and I think everybody did. Austin Reeves was also terrible. J.J. Redick was also terrible. So you can pass the blame around, Pearl, but it gets you wondering, can the LeBron-Luka combination actually win a title?
And the answer is no to me, and it's because Rudy Gobert just put 27 points on you. Now, Rudy Gobert is the famous playoff choker, but if you are going to go into the Western Conference without a center, and you're the Lakers, and you think you can cobble this together with a 40-year-old LeBron James and a Luka Doncic on a new team, he doesn't really know the team, and make this all work with no big men at all against a team with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. I mean, this is pure fantasy. I should have seen this coming. And by the way, the Warriors had the same problem where they don't have any big guys, but I just feel like they're younger and sort of better. The Lakers were exhausted. They were so tired. They just don't have enough around LeBron and Luka. You said you expected more from LeBron and Luka. I think part of the problem is there's just not enough support for those guys, and they were exhausted, had to do too much. And you saw it, the fact that Rudy Gobert has been nothing but a playoff disaster his entire career, was the MVP last night.
Oh, shades of Wilt Chamberlain is what I was hearing last night for Rudy Gobert, and Julius Randle with a fantastic night as well.
That's another guy who's never been good in the playoffs.
Exactly.
But when you're going against the Lakers, they just don't have the bodies.
Okay, so here's the why I'm going to disagree with you. And while I was disappointed in LeBron, I do think this is a stain on his permanent resume because you got the gift of like Luka kind of just helicopter lands in your lap, and you guys couldn't get out of the first round, and it was a gentleman's sweep. I do think there is so much potential here, even with LeBron going to be 41 next year, and here's why. First of all, yes, they don't have a center. They tried. Mark Williams, the trade got rescinded. I don't know if he would have been that much of a difference maker, but now you go into the offseason, Pearl, and like the plan couldn't be any clearer of what Rob Pelinka and the front office have to do. You need size. You need it right. You needed it yesterday, but you need it right away. So obviously this should be clear. Did anyone else notice Kyrie Irving sitting in the front row? Do you think that's a mistake? He's going to be a free agent also. Now, he's hurt, so I don't know what the situation is there. But they also need somebody, I think, because you talk about all the time, Luka being a ball stopper, and LeBron has a tendency at times to play hero ball, even though he's one of the smartest players in the NBA who's ever played. But I think they also need somebody who's going to be facilitating more. Like here, the assignment is clear for, to me, what the Lakers need. So why can't they fix it in a time where Luka gets more comfortable, JJ Redick gets more experience? Like it can all trend upwards.
Wait, I'm sorry, I don't totally understand. So the assignment is to get somebody like Kyrie Irving?
No, the assignment is to get a center.
But you said a playmaker.
Well,
like, how do you make a play? Like, what is the guy going to? Is he going to steal the ball from Luka Doncic and then distribute? How is anyone going to distribute when Luka is dribbling the entire time? I don't understand how this player comes in.
It's because they have to play a little more like how you want them to play.
Well, with Luka Doncic, how?
Pearl, do they want to win or do they not want to win? Sometimes you have to try to find different aspects and avenues of your game. Luka's only 26. This is not, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I refuse to believe that.
There's only one possible way LeBron gets back to the finals. He opts out and goes back to Cleveland. Because if he tries to stay with this crew in the West, there is no way. That's the other thing. Like, LeBron is very realistic. He's always looked around him. This team, they are in, I've never seen more lopsided conferences. There's no way a 41-year-old LeBron, Luka, and anybody else, next year's West is going to be 10 times worse than this year's West. And now, look, they ran into the 6th seed, and the 6th seed was amazing. There's just there's no way you can put together a crew that is going to beat all these teams. Normally LeBron would leave and get to the East as fast as he could. That would be a LeBron action that he's done a million times. But this, he would, he's gone to a place where he knows that there's no super team coming here. It's just not happening.
And I know why he's not leaving.
He's a Bronny, right?
Yes.
No, I think the way
DNP, Mr. DNP himself. I'm sorry. A lot of guys who were DNPs. That was mean. That was mean. I'm sorry.
Well, this is how the story would end if I think the universe would write it, that LeBron gifts Bronny the Lakers, then leaves, would be, in many people's mind, the ultimate LeBron move. So it's all about him. And the Lakers, Bronny's sitting there, and he's in Cleveland playing in the NBA Finals. That would just be amazing. Because that would be, of course, everything was about LeBron and nothing was about the team. We have good friends who laugh so hard at that.
Here's LeBron not commenting. Let's hear cut 2, please, Manny, on his future. Not sure how much longer he's going to play.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Something I sit down with my family, my wife, and my support group, and kind of just talk through it and see what happens, and then just have a conversation with myself on how long I want to continue to play.
We'll spare everybody. He's playing next year. The question is, does he opt into the, about $51 million or whatever that the Lakers owe him, or he can opt out? He could sign a new 3-year deal for like $137 million. So we've got some money to move around here. But here's another one from LeBron. Manny, can I hear cut 1? Was asked about the Lakers not having a center, and we all knew this, guys. Like, we knew this from the trade deadline, that the moment that Mark Williams trade got rescinded, this was going to be an issue. Here's LeBron.
No comment. I never say that because my guy AD said what he needed, and then he was gone the following week. So I got no comment. I put that uniform on every night. I gave everything I had, and that's all that matters.
That was your laugh track? That wasn't the media. I mean, it could have been, because this is where LeBron fans like myself, this is what makes it hard. Like, LeBron has no input, no say whatsoever on the team building, or he's not going to at least try to have some kind of input on the team building, saying, I just come to work, put the jersey on, put my head down and go to work. Spare me. You can't claim that now. I'm sure the Lakers would love it if it was that way, but it's not because Rich Paul's going to get involved. LeBron's people are going to get involved.
Yeah, I just don't think there's any moves he has here in L.A. I just don't. I think the time is running out. There's a clock over this team's head, and that's LeBron's future. He's going to be 41. You saw he definitely did not look like it.
No,
you saw he looked like an older LeBron a little bit. He's still very, very good.
There was a moment when he hit a three, I think, with about 3 minutes left to go in this game, and I think that gave the Lakers a 1-point lead or pulled it within 2. I can't remember, but they were still in it. And then after he settled for another 3, it clanked, and you could just see and it's not his fault. I'm not saying he's the only one. But the energy just drains out of this Lakers team so fast. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of amazing that Luka, if you actually look at it on paper, Luka went to a worse team. He downgraded from Dallas to L.A. Last year's Dallas team was very good. They built around Luka. So I just don't think that they can get the timing all right to build a championship roster around LeBron. If that's the case, then what are we doing here?
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So now you've seen it. From what you've seen so far, do you think LeBron and Luka together can win a title? Now, we know they need more help. Obviously, this is what off seasons are for. Now, here's the thing, though. They have, I believe, next year's first, I think, is top 4 protected, and then 2 years later.
Next year's not this June. You mean
2027?
Right. So
I'm just trying to think of the assets they have, like in terms of putting together a blockbuster trade. They got lucky that Nico Harrison is such a bonehead that he didn't demand 5 future first-round picks from the Lakers to sign Luka Doncic. It's only 1. And, EJ, I think I'm right that it's 2029? Now I can't remember.
Wait, I think that they do not have a lot of picks to trade.
I'm just saying, it's not going to be easy, but they know what the assignment is. Do you think they can do it?
So, by the way, they have first-round picks in 26, 28, 30, and 31.
Oh. But
so none in 27, none in 29.
But you can't trade 2 first-round picks 2 years in a row.
Right. And 27, you were talking about, that's the one that's top 4 protected. Okay. So they can't do anything with that.
Okay. So what did you see?
Wait. I get so confused. Who's top 4? They mean
the Lakers top 4.
Okay. And it goes to Utah?
Yes, it goes to Utah if it's not in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right, Utah.
Right.
They always are sneaking around in there, aren't they? Anyway.
But here's the thing. I don't think there's this mythical piece that they can add. It's kind of hard. I mean, Giannis, but that can't possibly.
It's not enough.
Not enough. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not enough of a deal.
Yeah, no. The Bucks wouldn't do this.
Exactly.
Well, the problem also is that they have to match salaries.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah.
Unless they're trading LeBron James, they're not getting Giannis.
Yeah. Which they would do.
They could trade Luka.
Yeah, right.
Back to Dallas.
Like a house.
I heard this Anthony Davis guy in Dallas.
You know who would fit perfectly? Anthony Davis. Let's do it. Right now, Rob Pelinka. All right, Nico, I'll give you a second-round pick in 2031 for Anthony Davis. What do you think? Wow, I like that odds. Fleece Nico again. Go back to the well.
Man, I know. How are these guys not more successful? It's crazy. One team got ousted in the first round. The other team got ousted in the play-in tournament. Yeah. And meanwhile, Anthony Edwards gets to go on like a mini victory tour here because everyone picked the Lakers, and now he gets to troll everybody. So.
You know what makes it? Yes, but you have to admit, it was not pretty.
No.
My guy Ant-Man, I'm like, oh, man, this good. If they play like last night, they're going, it's a sweep by the Warriors, and assuming the Warriors advance. Ooh. That they set an all-time record for missed threes. Does anyone notice that? I think it was the worst Timberwolves game. And you think Rudy Gobert is going to be on the court against the Warriors? Again, you're saying I owe Rudy Gobert an apology. Get out of here. Look at his game log coming into this. Look how many points he scored against Jackson Hayes and nobody. He was averaging 2 points a game in the first 4 games.
Well, J.J. Redick put Jackson Hayes in witness protection, along with half the roster. And I understand that you got to tighten up your rosters in the playoffs, but the guys watching Luka be so exhausted. LeBron's learned how to take these sort of breaks in the game.
Yeah.
Luka's definitely not learned how to do that. It's painful to watch him at times.
Yeah. Especially this series because he had to play so many minutes.
And his back was hurt. Let's hear from Luka talking about his back, man. He cut 6. It was achy after the injury.
It's not good at all, but, I tried to go. So that's it.
Okay. back injuries. Not awesome when you're a professional athlete. I'd take elbow, head, shoulders, knees, and toes or whatever before I take back and feet. Right?
Backs are terrible.
Backs are bad.
Am I sensing what I think I'm hearing?
Well, I'm not saying Nico was right.
It sounded like you were headed in that direction, Maggie. Did
Nico
anyone else hear
right.
that?
No, but I'm like, what? This is the thing. I always feel terrible for regular people like us, when someone's like, I have either back pain or I have migraines. Because I feel like doctors are kind of like, we don't got really anything for you. Like with some really powerful drugs that's going to change your lifestyle. Yeah, I know many. Those sound like recreational ones to you. But back issue.
Well, I mean,
back issue.
I think it's pretty obvious Luka needs to get in shape. I mean, Joel Embiid probably has back issues. He needs to do some sit-ups in the offseason. Get the core going. Get that core going.
He did get hurt. Like he got clubbed in the head by Dante, which injured his back. It wasn't like he was running out the court and he pulled something.
Yeah, no, but it's connected. Like your back, you don't get a back injury out of the blue. Your body is prepping for that. Like if you're in super great shape and loose and limber and ready to go, you can withstand that kind of thing.
Let's also hear from Luka about his future. Cut 9, please. Has not yet thought about the looming contract extension, which he's up for.
I didn't think it yet. I've been focused on basketball, so obviously this is the time, now to think about everything.
Okay. I mean, he's doing this, right?
Oh my God! The Lakers obviously. Like, what would be the whole point of this if they didn't sign that?
Yeah, it has to happen. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So we're asking you this morning: do you think LeBron and Luka can win a title together? EJ, do you mind putting the poll up?
Wait, I'll make a prediction. 90% say no.
Well, you can't be a prisoner of the moment here, and you can't expect that they're going to go into next year with the same roster. Obviously,
I want my damn respect too.
Right, but the options are limited, and I just don't think LeBron. You can't ignore the age, Maggie. That's the thing. I think it's a fantasy to think that he's not going to get worse just by definition, and he's really, really good. But man, if you had a prime LeBron last night, it'd be a totally different animal. Obvious statement of the year. You could see this is not 29-year-old LeBron, of course.
Okay, well, can I actually bring something up then about another thing that needs to change for the Lakers to actually have a shot? I was thinking about this last night as I'm watching LeBron kind of, had moments in the fourth quarter, but he and Luka were bad in the fourth quarter of this series. In games 4 and 5 in the fourth quarter, Luka and LeBron combined to go 4 for 18. And it looked worse than that, quite frankly. This was a team. Usually these guys are closers, right? This is what LeBron has been in his career. Luka, you hope he turns into that. They were anything but in this series. Something has to change about the regular season, I think, with LeBron. Like, this is now where he's at 41. You got to, put him on ice for significant amounts of the regular season in order to have him fresh for the playoffs. And I know LeBron takes his post-All-Star break every year, and, he'll come up with some phantom injury. Yeah,
it's always the groin.
Whatever, something tendonitis. And he'll kind of go on a little bit of a hiatus.
Hey, LeBron, we're pulling for your groin.
It's got to be way more managed than that. And I don't know if J.J. Redick or the front office or whoever is going to be able to get that across to him. Maybe they show him the tape from the fourth quarters of this series and say, you can't be going pedal to the metal through the regular season. He's still averaging 35 minutes a game through the regular season. He played 70 games this year.
Yeah, I mean,
that's more than most superstars, it feels like.
If I don't know how much load management there is for this team. I don't think you can load manage and solve this Kawhi Leonard style.
You didn't have to be the 3 seed. You didn't. I'm not saying you want to be in the play-in.
They were 2 games away from the play-in. This is the West.
I know.
The bottom line is this: you can't ignore the fact that there is so much young talent coming up in this particular conference. I mean, the Spurs just got the Rookie of the Year. I mean, this is how LeBron's going to get out of this Game of Thrones situation is impossible. You look at the other teams around him, and that's what happens. Younger players come up. But
he's paired with one of those guys. See, that's where
one of those guys. I think you need 2.
Well, 888.
That's what he needed in Miami. Yeah.
That's true. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. What'd you see last night? I imagine Laker fans, you got to be sick. I mean, if you're grading these guys in terms of last night, I mean, F. LeBron, not good. J.J. Redick, not good. Austin Reeves, awful. Luka had the back thing, so maybe give him a pass there, but just bad. And Anthony Edwards going 0 for 11 from 3. And you still lost. They shot 7 for 47, the Timberwolves, from 3-point range, and you lost.
Most missed three-pointers ever in the history of the NBA.
Like, how do you not make a team pay for that? They just couldn't because Rudy Gobert was such a monster inside. They couldn't get a rebound. All those misses were actually corralled by the Timberwolves, and 24 of them by Rudy Gobert.
Yes, because you don't have any big man, and LeBron and Luka ran out of steam. The Lakers are not going to put this together. I vote no on the poll.
All right, go to X. Go to X.com.
Go to X at Maggie and Pearl. Join me.
Perloff's
Join me.
Campaign.
This is declarative.
888-710-44. Excuse me. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. That's our number. Good morning, everybody. Will the Lakers, LeBron James, and Luka win a title together?
The Timberwolves!
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
And I never thought I'd say this, but Shaq has video of Rudy Gobert.
And I never thought I would say these words that are about to come out of my mouth, but Rudy Gobert is dominating. Roll the tape.
Roll the tape is right.
It's gonna be a good day with Maggie and Perloff.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. I can't believe they took a break from debating man versus gorilla last night, because I know that was 90% of the conversation on TNT.
Yeah, everywhere.
But I'm not buying this Rudy Gobert is awesome. Rudy Gobert came into that game. First 4 games, he was 3 for 14 and was averaging 2 points a game against the Lakers with no center. Do you realize how bad he was? And have you ever seen the movie? I was thinking about this analogy. You guys seen the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day?
Yeah, of course.
That's a preview of what the Golden State Warriors are going to do if Rudy Gobert is on the court. They're going to hunt him all game long, like you've never seen a guy hunted in his life. That's what the Mavs did to him last year. They're like, where's Gobert? We got to get a guard on the Gobert, and that's 2 points. They're going to destroy that guy. He won't. If the team will try and play Rudy Gobert against the Warriors, say if the Warriors advance, I think they sweep.
All right, well, you got to give Gobert literally Shaq choking on his words. You've got to apologize. 27 points, 24 rebounds, 9 on the offensive end. Here's the thing about Gobert, though. Last night, he's the only reason that this was able to work, because the Timberwolves were so off on their shooting that him rebounding the ball and some of the blocks, but him rebounding the ball the way he did kept them alive in the game. Anyone who shoots this poorly, 7 for 47 from 3, Anthony Edwards 0 for 11 from 3, you lose that game.
Right,
it was his rebounding that kept them in it.
It was just because the Lakers were exhausted. Normally he can't do this. So it was J.J. Redick. Thank him for that, for wearing them down. And I don't think the T-Wolves would have kept chucking it like that if Gobert didn't get every offensive rebound. Do you think it's possible they might have adjusted and stopped shooting those?
Here's Anthony Edwards was amazed by his teammate Rudy Gobert.
He had 24 rebounds. Yeah. Good. He was the dragon tonight. Rudy was the dragon. Yeah, he was the dragon tonight, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Nah, he wasn't a dragon from Antarctica, though. He was a dragon from Game of Thrones tonight. Yeah, he was incredible tonight, to answer your question.
Impressing his own teammates. Anthony Edwards was on one last night. Can we hear more from him? Said it feels good to win in 5 after everyone picked the Lakers.
You know what makes it feel even better is that they said Lakers in 5 and the Wolves won in 5. So I think that makes it feel 10 times better. I'm the truth.
Want to hear from TikTok a little more? Okay, let's hear now from TikTok. This is not the official press conference. This is out on the street. Anthony Edwards trolling Laker fans as he's leaving the Crypto.com arena.
Batman, Superman, Lakers in 5.
We have more about him trolling Shannon Sharp. Let's hear that. Yeah.
No, that was him trolling Shannon Sharp.
That's the Lakers in 5. Okay. Yeah, like Shannon Sharp doesn't have more on his plate right now. More from Ant-Man.
I'm minding my business, man. How y'all gonna be with me? I just sent y'all home. Hey, how they gonna do that? Man, they been talking all week. Hey, all the analysts said what they say? Lakers in 5. And then look, when we was up 3-1, they said Lakers in 7. Go to hell today. Hey, Ty, what is it? Hey, the good guy gonna die in this movie. Hey, the good guy gonna die in this movie. Hey, Morris Chestnut died in this movie.
If you couldn't hear that well, he said the good guys died in this movie. Morris Chestnut died in this movie.
I like how there's a saxophone playing in the background, too.
Smooth jazz outside.
Hey, Morris Chestnut died in this movie.
Yes, what do you think of that? You like it?
Wait, help me with this analogy. So Morris Chestnut. So the Lakers are the good guy.
Yeah. Well, they're the home team tonight.
I mean, that was tragic when Morris Chestnut died. That's one of the most tragic movie deaths we've ever seen. I don't know if the Luka LeBron counts as that. Normally, I would say for a normal NBA player, I would be just like, shut up, you won a first-round series. You're supposed to walk away and say, we have a lot of work ahead to do. But Ant-Man doesn't follow any other rules.
Nope.
So he's just oblivious. He's like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to slay the biggest giants. And he doesn't seem to care. Like, would you really normally want your star to say after a first-round series, yeah, we're really excited. We beat the Lakers, but we have much more work to do. Not Ant-Man.
No, it's not exactly, what is it, business-like? I don't know.
Yeah. Act like you've been there before.
Nah.
And it works for him. He just doesn't see, he seems above it all.
Well, it works for him now. You can't keep chirping like that and then losing, right? So they lost last year to the Mavs.
He was wiped out. He was because he had carried the team last year. It seems like who I hate to say is really good, another playoff loser, Julius Randle. I mean, he's never been good in the playoffs, but I think the matchup helped him a lot too. The Lakers, again, this comes back to the Lakers were not a really good team. They were just worn down.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We're asking you, will Luka and LeBron ever win a title together? So you can go vote on that one. Also, another question for you. Who are you blaming the most for last night? LeBron, Luka, or JJ Redick? I know there's another spot on the poll we could put. I feel like Austin Reeves could probably take that, but yeah.
Austin Reeves.
I mean, he was bad, but
I think the expectations are lower on him. Yeah.
He said he was terrible. I mean, he was. But anyway, I don't know if we leave Reeves out of this one.
I think we should put him in. I think a lot of Lakers fans are mad at him.
All right, put him in.
I mean, it doesn't feel like he fits in that with LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like, you going to put Jared Vanderbilt on there? Like,
I mean, he's not Jared
Maxi
Vanderbilt.
Kleber. Smush Parker.
He's about to
he's
be,
a lot closer to Jared Vanderbilt than he is to LeBron James.
but he's about to be the third highest paid player on the team.
Right.
Yeah,
But he's a lot closer to Jared Vanderbilt than he is LeBron James. That's in my opinion.
Not in the scoring. He averaged 20 this year.
Yeah, no, I'm with Perloff. When you have LeBron, Luka, and JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka, you can't blame Austin Reeves. There's just like, you
guys
can't.
You guys are living in a world that the Lakers didn't play this season.
Yeah, I know what you mean,
Austin Reeves
EJ, but
has been very important this year.
If you pull back and you think about the overall course of NBA history, we're all going to remember LeBron, Luka Doncic. No one's going to remember Austin Reeves. No offense, Austin
Well,
Reeves.
he's going to be a big part of this team for a long, long time.
Yeah, I just don't know that you could ever blame him before you blame LeBron or Luka or the head coach. Let's put Andrew Bynum on the poll.
Where is that guy? Bogusch has headlines for us. What's going on?
Your headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
I'm the petty king.
They probably should have just stayed in San Francisco and fast-forwarded to Game 6. The Warriors and Rockets did play Game 5 in Houston last night. It was a 30-point game mid-third quarter, so Steve Kerr gave up.
Is Steve Kerr playing? Looks like Steve Kerr might be
punting the game.
It looks like he's punting.
Kevin Knox is out here.
Yeah,
But I love Kevin. That's my guy. He is one of my guys.
It looks like he's punting and getting ready for a game back at home on Friday night.
Rockets TV in disbelief as Kerr pulled his starters with 5.5 minutes left in that third quarter. His team was down by 29. Ime Udoka followed suit a few minutes later, but then put his Houston starters back in the fourth when Golden State cut the lead to 17. Houston held on for a 131-116 win. Steve Kerr's team, though, still leads 3-2.
Young team, on their home floor, trying to stay alive. They came out and threw haymakers at us. They made every shot in the first quarter. So we got what we deserved.
Houston got 20-point games from Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, and Dylan Brooks. The T-Wolves got those 27 points and 24 boards from Rudy Gobert to close out the Lakers in Game 5 in L.A., 103-96.
Feels great. We had a season with a lot of ups and downs, and to come here and play the way we did tonight means a lot.
That's Gobert post-game on TNT. This is the first time in T-Wolves history, by the way, they've won a playoff series in back-to-back years. The Lakers, meanwhile, back to the drawing board after losing the final 3 games of this series.
And I think there was a stat that this is the first time the Lakers have ever been eliminated in the first round when they are a 3 seed or higher.
I saw that too.
Wait, I saw this stat. They've been eliminated in the first round every year except for the title year since LeBron got there. Is that right? Or they made the conference finals.
No, they made the conference finals 2 years ago.
But how many times has LeBron lost in the first round now?
It feels like they're all as a Laker.
Yeah.
Well, one of those,
He never lost as a Cav in the first round?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, he definitely didn't.
I also blame the West. I mean, this conference is not easy. This Lakers team, we say all this, they'd probably be in the conference finals in the East.
One last NBA note. Hawks guard Dyson Daniels voted most improved player after leading the league in steals and setting career highs in points, rebounds, and assists. Former FSU QB Jordan Travis retiring yesterday without playing a single NFL snap. The Jets drafted him in the 5th round last year, with Travis coming off that nasty lower leg injury suffered with the Knolls in November of 2023. That leg has not recovered well enough to resume playing. Back in March, you may remember his agent criticized the Jets for pushing Travis's rehab too fast.
Yeah, lawsuits in 3, 2, 1. Although he did thank the Jets, I think, in his handwritten note, but a lawsuit's got to be coming, I would imagine, right? About pushing him back too quickly and ending his career.
I don't. Has that lawsuit ever happened?
That was a couple of years ago. You guys might remember an offensive lineman, I think, sued the Jets over his rehab. I'll find it. But anyway, I was thinking about this with Jordan Travis. We're not going to, outside of FSU, we're probably not going to remember this guy 10, 20, 30 years from now. But man, what a divergent way his career could have went. If he doesn't get hurt at the end of the year, they make the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they win a game. You don't know. And then either he is a much higher draft pick or he goes back to school and gets more NIL. I think he still had some eligibility. They all have eligibility. And then now, it's
he's
just
pretty
over.
old.
He had to go.
He had to go?
He
Okay.
was pretty old, yeah. He started out in Louisville, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that Quinn Ewers played in a semifinal and he got drafted in the 7th round, so maybe it doesn't matter. But if he had played well, maybe he becomes a 3rd-round pick, gets into a great situation, and now you're a career backup and you're making $6 million a year.
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to go. He could have gone much differently. You were slotting him as a career backup in this much. These sliding doors, it's maybe if everything went right.
He could have been Case Keenum. He could have had a State Farm commercial.
Case Keenum started 70
You could have had your phone
games.
number.
No,
I don't think
the NFL ever really was into Jordan Travis at all.
But he was a 5th-round pick with one leg.
I know. I mean, by the Jets.
A 3rd-round projection
Because
healthy, no?
I wonder what he was short. There is no doubt. And he was not athletic. He was old, short, and not that good anyway. I personally don't think the NFL would have happened there. So I'm curious if he does do this lawsuit. I'd love to see a judge say, how much money did you actually lose here? Because I don't know what he was going to make.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. You do feel, because you felt bad for FSU at the time that they got completely railroaded by not making the college football playoff, and he seems like the biggest loser out of all this. Anyway, Bogusch, back to you.
The Diamondbacks snapped the Mets' 8-game home winning streak last night, 4-3. The Royals blanked the Rays 3-0. Lefty Noah Cameron took a no-hitter into the 7th inning in his first big league start. And the Blue Jays topped the Red Sox 7-6-10 after trailing 6-0. This feels like our fault. Mike Trout left yesterday afternoon's Angels game with left knee discomfort. That apparently the result of trying to beat out a ground ball to second. The team called the exit a precaution, and Trout said he thought he could play today.
He better play today. I got a show bet I'm trying to win, man.
That one was on me, by the way. I brought up his name yesterday.
No, but Maggie was the one that said, let's be honest, when was the last time he played a full season?
But there's also this thing. I saw Mike Trout has gotten injured on this exact date before.
Oh, my goodness.
April 30th, I think it was.
Does he play on top of an Indian burial
I mean, there's
ground?
no
What's
way.
going
I
on?
mean, pretty much every date on the calendar, Mike Trout has gotten injured on this date.
Finally, some playoff hockey. The
Wasn't very
Panthers closed out the Lightning by taking Game 5 in Tampa 6-3. The Capitals are done with the Canadiens in 5, 4-1 in D.C. last night. The Jets took a 3-2 lead on the Blues with a 5-3 home win. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, we have a home run derby going on with the show, and Manny took Mike Trout, and we kind of clowned him for it, and then Mike Trout got off to this incredible start, and we're like, well, he's going to get hurt, and he literally, that conversation was literally yesterday, and then he literally got hurt maybe 7 hours later, something like that. Jim is in South Carolina, though, wants to weigh in on LeBron. What's up, Jim?
I want compensation, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Jim. How's it going?
Hey, good morning.
What do you got on LeBron James, dude?
Yeah, so I think this helps cement the argument of who is the GOAT, and that is between LeBron and Michael. And that is the fact that when it came down to crunch time, when it came down to picking up your teammates, when it came down to making your teammates better in crunch time, it is still Michael Jordan.
Listen, yes, Michael in crunch time was amazing. What he did on the defensive side, too, I don't even know if that gets lost, but he was incredible in crunch time, not just offense, but also defense. But here's the thing about this LeBron-Jordan debate. Jordan was long retired with what LeBron's trying to do at 40.
Right. LeBron's last playoff game, Jordan's last playoff game, he was 34. Is this the last time they won a title in Chicago? He wasn't in the playoffs to fail at 38, 39, 40. Like
right.
LeBron
So
is.
it's kind of like, do you give LeBron extra credit for being out there and actually being, he is trying. He was bad last night. I'm not going to, you can't skirt that. But you don't think that matters in the GOAT debate? The fact that LeBron's actually still out there where Jordan was full-time at a blackjack table by 40.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a longevity versus peak argument.
Sure.
If you judge them like who is a better player at their peak, that's, I think, a way a lot of people do the GOAT debates. So I think it's a style choice, too.
But Jordan did go out in first rounds.
Well, my argument is the fact that at their peak, right. And if you want to go back to that, at their peak, Michael always lifted his teammates up, found a way to win. There wasn't any excuses. And I don't think at this point, I think everybody's just giving him sympathy or participation points to LeBron.
I think it's more than that, Jim. I don't know if you're trying to disrespect
participation points.
That's also just not fair. I mean, he's still one of the best players in the league.
Also,
at 40.
But it also feels like, and Jim, thank you for the phone call, but it feels like you are talking about peaks, but you're applying right now to this argument. Like, if we want to go back to LeBron's peak, if you want to go back to 2013, 2014, 2015, whatever you think his peak was, maybe it even started earlier than that. Yes, did he get some criticism early in his career for passing in certain, he's making the right basketball play, by the way, but passing in certain situations and being deferential, fine. But then he did have years where he was that guy. We have hours and hours of footage of him being that dude. And I think it was the game against Detroit when he was the first time around in Cleveland that first cemented the fact that he could be that closer, and then obviously goes on from there.
Making the right basketball play. That's like, hey, Manny, I want to introduce this girl. Great personality.
Listen, even Jordan passed as Jim exactly. Paxton and Kirk.
That's why that's God. Do not care about the personality.
He did, though, right? I mean, you were there. You saw those things.
I mean, come on. But still, like LeBron.
But not to read
LeBron early on, and he'll be the first to admit this, he should have been more aggressive in game closing situations.
Sure.
So he made the right I'm just saying, they made the right basketball play. I think it's kind of funny.
He also won a conference with Boobie Gibson, which Michael Jordan didn't.
Listen, that was not to denigrate his legacy, but just to say that he needed an adjustment on his late game philosophy. He wasn't making the right basketball play.
But Jordan, to be fair, will also tell you that he needed to trust his teammates more in order to win.
Yeah. No, I listened. Right. Young Jordan, obviously, you said that Jordan lost first round series. Yeah, young Jordan needs some time to figure it out. Most players do, except for apparently Anthony Edwards, who can beat Hall of Famers left and right. He's just like, let's go.
And then trolls everybody afterwards.
The legend killer.
The legend killer.
888-710-4ISN. I think Jim brings up a good point, though. And this is, is there anything LeBron can do at this point to catch Jordan in people's minds? Because it's going to have to be winning another title. That might bring some people over.
That's why I don't know why he's still playing, to be honest. Like, because at this point, if Perloff is right that there is no chance he can really win a title with this team, he ain't winning nowhere else. Because he's not getting himself to Cleveland unless he's going to take a mid-level exception or like $1 million to play there.
Well, why not? I mean, why not take a mid-level? Even with the Lakers.
I don't think there's any chance LeBron's doing that. You can be right. I'm just saying. I don't
Maggie
think
brought this up before the show. Why not cut your salary, which he can have the option to do to bring in more help?
He should, but I don't know if the players' union want him to do that. Quite frankly, that's a big part of it. And I think he's not going to play for something that he doesn't feel he's worth. So if he's not doing that,
he's trying to buy a franchise,
Yeah, that $50 million, that ain't a number to sneeze at.
No,
that's a lot of money. Like, I don't think he's passing that up. And trust me, like, he'll get that money from somebody. Like, even if he said, okay, I'm opting out, somebody will give him $50 million. He has a choice of $50 million from the Lakers, somewhere else, or taking $5 million to play in Cleveland. I don't think he's going back there.
That's some good fiscal analysis right there, EJ. That's a lot of money.
Call me Warren Buffett.
But I mean, after taxes in California, what's he really taking home?
He's taking home like $25 million. It's really not that much. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4ISN. 4476. Okay, you're welcome to weigh in on LeBron James. We also have two stories that just keep exploding on the NFL side. So we get to that. It's M&P.
Hey, boy, Chestnut died in this movie.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. That seemed great. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's gonna be May.
Happy May, everybody. We made it. In the Northeast, this is a really big deal. Because April, you could get a snowstorm. May, you're pretty much in the clear. Lakers, not in the clear. Out of the playoffs, gone. Gentleman's sweep, Pearl, at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Asking you a couple questions today. One, do you think Luka and LeBron will ever win a title together? Or is this going to be a little too late, maybe, on LeBron's career? And then can Luka get his fitness together, and can they put the right team around him to actually make this thing pay off?
Yeah, I mean, they really need another piece. I hate to say it, like,
who's the tallest person you know?
It seems like they need Anthony Davis. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't know how you get AD back there. Obviously, you can't. They're just not a complete team, and I think you saw that in this series.
Definitely. We're also asking, who are you blaming the most for this particular series loss? Is it LeBron? Is it Luka? Is it J.J. Redick? Rob Pelinka? Where are you putting the blame here? JT's calling from Atlanta. Good day to be a LeBron hater, JT. Good morning.
Yeah, Christmas has come early for the triple L haters, the Luka, LeBron, Laker haters. They're having they're rejoicing in the rain today. But this is the thing that I want to say a few things here is that one, I'm blaming that J.J. Thibodeau for the way he coached these last two games. I'm blaming LeBron for making sure that his son had a roster spot when we could have put Trey Jameson on here, at least as a big body 7-footer that could at least grab rebounds or do something other than just having Jackson Hayes as our only option, or Jeremy Lin or Maxi Klua, or whoever else they wanted to put in there. But no, we want to save a spot for Bronny so that he could travel with his dad during the postseason.
Alex Len, one. There were 7 guys who had DNPs last night, though, coach's decision. I mean, it's more than just Bronny.
That was an all-time, I would say that was an all-time Lakers franchise low when Maxi Kleber checked in last night.
Oh, we never even got to Maxi Kleber.
Oh, my God. The guy hadn't played in a year or something?
No, January 25th was the last time he played when he was a member of the Mavs. Yeah, he came over in the Luka trade.
How did they said he'd never practiced with the team either because he's coming off an injury. Like, what was he supposed to do?
Well, J.J. Redick was so desperate. I love, JT, that you called him J.J. Thibodeau. That was a shot for our Knicks fans across the glass here, JT.
Oh, no, we loved it.
We giggled.
Well, yeah.
And then, so, real quick, too, everybody's talking about LeBron and him and Jordan comparison, and the difference is not what anybody said, as far as clutchness and all of that stuff. Those are all relative, 6 and all that. But Jordan was the best defensive player during his dominance as well. Yeah. LeBron has never been considered that. And so, to say that you can dominate on the offense and the defense, He was the guy who just went in the draft before him. He was a two-way player.
Travis Hunter.
Before the two-way players became. Yeah, he was all that. And LeBron has never been considered.
Yeah, I'm a Jordan guy, but LeBron is a menace on defense. When in the fourth quarter, when he goes on the best player, forget. Are you kidding me? He's an incredible defender.
Stays down blocks. That's what he's known for.
No, he would switch it. He would stay off the big guy. Then I've seen him in the fourth quarter when he wants to shut someone down. He can shut someone down. LeBron's one of the.
I've never seen LeBron lock someone up and be like,
there was a
best
series.
Player, let's go
even as
LeBron
a Laker, even as an old Laker, I've seen him in stretches lock down guys. He's LeBron James. You're telling me he can't play defense? I think he's an outstanding.
Has he ever been defensive player of the year?
Finished second.
I was going to say, he's finished second a couple times.
Did Jordan ever win defensive player of the year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Once.
88, yeah.
But here's, JT, I think it's funny because to have this conversation now, it almost doesn't feel like we can have a true conversation because it's been a while since we've seen that LeBron. Now, he did have a chase down block in the last game. That was pretty exciting, but he hasn't. He can't be that defender now because he's too old to be that defender now. You know, he wouldn't. He's barely making it through games as we're not barely making it through games. I'm hyperbole here, but when he was in his prime, was it as locked down as Jordan? I'll give you no, but it was not. It was not Nikola Jokic. It wasn't Luka.
Oh.
He actually was committed to the defensive end. You got to give LeBron the flowers there.
The Dobermans were the Dobermans, right? They were a best perimeter lockdown, team. Him and Pippen put together.
Yeah.
Were shutting the whole perimeter down and allowed Stacey King, and you could have these other people, run in the middle and be able to still satisfy because everything on the perimeter got locked out. I think George. Just think about it when he stole the ball from Karl Malone in the finals. LeBron was that. Jordan was that guy on both ends of the court.
JT, thank you for the call. We're up against the top of the hour.
But by the way, Jordan didn't even cover a man by the end of his career. He just hung out in the lanes and stole baskets. I'd be dead serious. Even Larry Bird would do that all game. Be like, I'm not even going to cover my guy. I'm just going to steal it from you.
Is there anything that LeBron could do to catch Jordan? 888-710-4ISN.
Get a time machine.
It's gonna be May.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Down in Music City, there's a man named Jay. He's tuned in to Maggie and Perloff every single day. Life's been a battle, he's been losing for years, but now his motto's clear: no more losing tears. He's been down, he's been low, but now he's ready for a brand new show. Jay's got questions, can't let it slide. Who's running to YouTube on the Infinity side? Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Bummelotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Make it right. Been a loser so long, my losing's all gone. Tapped out my bad luck, it's time to move on. From his couch in Nashville, he's solving the case.
2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
LeBron and Luka sent packing. Ousted in the first round. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Angel Perloff. We'll get back to that and the implications and the disappointment, considering how Luka's trade to the Lakers, Pearl, was the story of the season. It is the story of the season, still, even with them losing.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that story was a bit also long-term. Like, all of a sudden the Lakers have a future after LeBron. To me, it wasn't everyone piling on saying you have to win this year. So, yes, it's a disappointment for sure. But I don't think they were the favorite. So it's not like a shock that they lost.
Yeah, we're asking you today, do you think they'll ever win together?
It's going to be not a lot of time.
You can go to @Maggie and Pearl and you can vote on X. I know I kind of thought, LeBron, he looks like he could play forever. Yeah. Not last night.
Well, Luka might win with LeBron James. It's just going to be the other LeBron James.
Oh, Bronny.
Yeah. I think he has a better chance of winning one with Bronny than LeBron, because I got to think, LeBron said after the game that he is going to look at the future. It sounded like he's going to come back, but he can't. What do you think? One more year, Mag, if you had to forecast?
It's as long as he wants it to be, probably. But as far as high level, unless they start really load managing during the regular season and saving him for the playoffs, which I think they should do immediately, probably only like another year or two.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Which is amazing, by the way.
He could play as long as he wants, but I think that he doesn't want to not be one of the best players. So the question is, when is that going to happen?
Yeah, right. 888-710-4ISN. So for all the Lakers fans, if you're, in that postmortem today, let us know what you think went wrong and how do they fix it. Obviously, they need a center. And then for the Laker haters, well, congrats to you. I think Nico Harrison somewhere sips a scotch, no?
Yeah, that was a big win for Nico. Big win.
Well, it's like a quarter win. It's not a big win. He's still pulled off one of the most boneheaded moves in the history of the NBA.
If you're Nico Harrison, you'll take any victory you can get, Maggie. At this point, anything positive is good. He's got 3 more years on his deal, too. He's going to get paid throughout that contract. He's fine.
Of course, he's the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks who traded away Luka Doncic. Meanwhile, press conference yesterday, pretty awkward. It was Jeff Ulbrich, who is the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, Pearl, having to answer questions for his son, Jax Ulbrich, who was the one who pranked Shedeur Sanders on draft night. It was all caught on film. Here's Jeff Ulbrich saying he does feel regret for this prank.
Tremendous amount of regret for what my son did and for what I allowed and being neglectful in that way. But it's another part of the regret is there's so many amazing people in this building that did an amazing job in this draft process, and then to pull it off on draft weekend and do as well as they did, it's hard because those people should be celebrated in these moments, and they probably weren't as much as they should have been.
Well, maybe not the people who sent a first rounder to the Rams, but
yeah,
sure.
I was going to say, there were 2 draft crimes that happened. One, giving out the number. 2, giving out the number 27 pick for next year. It's still, we didn't have time because of Shedeur to unpack that. It was insane. But
yeah, I don't
that's
know
not
if
what
I'd
we're
go
talking
doing
about
victory
here.
laps here if I was the Falcons, but that's fine. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe their gamble will work. More from Ulbrich. So just to update the story, obviously, so Jeff Ulbrich's son was the one who pranked Shedeur, as I just mentioned, but they were fined. So the Falcons were fined $250,000, and Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, was fined $100,000. He said he did reach out to the Sanders family.
Obviously not happy and shocked. And so I made the Falcons aware of the situation, and then our next course of action was to try to get a hold of the Sanders family so we could apologize in person, which we were able to do. The Sanders family, Shedeur and Coach Sanders, were amazingly gracious, more gracious than they needed to be in a moment like this.
Man, imagine you're Jeff Ulbrich. So that he just is coming off of a stint with the Jets that was an abject failure, where he gets tabbed to replace Robert Saleh as the head coach, and they got so much worse.
Don't be a freaking weirdo.
Like, the defense got worse. It was all bad. And then now you're the new guy. Like, you're the new guy at the Falcons. This is your first season as defensive coordinator, and your son pulls this bonehead thing. Two things for you. Mm-hmm. Number one, how big of a deal is this? Like, he's obviously very contrite here. This is, this was very serious. People are really ticked off, not just at Jax Ulbrich, who pranked Shedeur, but all the pranking that's been going on, the prank calls, seems like it's just out of control. Secondly, do you believe that you're a parent, I'm a parent, when someone says, I'm so shocked that my kid did this, are you ever really shocked, or do you know your kid well enough that you're like, deep down, I feel like he's a prank caller?
Oh, no. On the second one, I don't think anybody realizes what their kids are going to become like as teenagers. You remember the 8-year-old. You don't remember. Okay. When they turn 16 and what they're doing outside the house, I think that's hard to predict.
Yeah. Okay. My kid's still 5.5. So
my kids are 13 and 14, and I've been warned by other parents. You think you know what there's going on in their head. You have no idea. I generally think. But to the first point, is this story, I mean, this is getting ridiculous. As my friend Booger McFarland said, no one died. That the tone in his press conference acted like this huge tragedy. I mean, these are prank calls. This is an NFL where guys are suffering. There's so many major issues with the NFL. To me, draft guys getting prank called is a one-off. I don't think this is ever going to happen again. They're going to address it. And people are acting like this was the scandal of a lifetime. I think it's, again, as usual scandals, people are getting way too caught up in the moment. This is an overreach. And I think that fine was ridiculous.
Which fine? The Falcons or Ulbrich?
No, the Falcons, $250,000. That's nothing. That's a nickel to them. That means nothing. $100,000 to a coordinator? He's not a player. He doesn't have that kind of contract.
Well, he was a player back in the day, but I don't know how much money he made back then.
Right, but I mean, it is in terms of NFL terms, if you look at the percentage of his salary.
Yeah, he makes $1.5 million.
It's one of the biggest fines in recent NFL history if you look at the percentage of the salary.
Sure.
It's crazy. And the fact that there were 10 of them, I mean, let's face it, the guy got unlucky for two reasons. One, because Shedeur happened to be filming at that moment. I know he was filming the whole thing. And two, because it was Shedeur Sanders. And it was the most famous draft fall, I think, now of all time. EJ said this after the draft. It might be the most important draft moment, the most famous draft moment ever. And he just got caught up in that. If it was the other guys who if he had called Abdul Carter, no big deal. BC went number 3, nobody cares. If he called Mason Graham, no big deal. It was, to me, people are looking for a scapegoat, and they found the Ulbrichs.
888-710-4ISN. Okay, so a couple things. I think it's not ridiculous that the parent gets fined. I guess he's got to take responsibility. This did not happen in the facility, right? This happened when the iPad or laptop or whatever that had the numbers was at their home. So you do have to take responsibility there, and I don't mind that someone has to pay a price for this because it was a breach of data security, stuff like that. I don't understand why the Falcons got fined. What did they do?
Well, it was their iPad.
Okay, but it's at home. It just didn't happen in his office. The Falcons were never drafting Shedeur Sanders. They have nothing to do with Shedeur Sanders. Why the Falcons get the shrapnel from this? I know it's a drop in the bucket for them. $250,000 is not much. They're not going to hurt for this. I'm talking about the principle of it. The Falcons getting fined, I really don't understand. And as far as the pearl clutching about it, listen, I do get it. I do get why people are upset about this because there are these draft moments. They should. You're right, at Perloff. There's not a lot that's pure about the NFL, and there's not that pure about college football either. But these are great moments where dreams are realized, and to have it be ruined, and I don't know how they do fix it. You think they can. Everyone wants to see the call, and everyone needs the numbers.
Yeah.
So I think there's always going to be someone out there who can ruin it.
Oh, that's interesting. So they have to really, really figure this out next year because, by the way, I was saying that the fine was ridiculous, but I do think it was very bad that these guys are getting pranked. Like this has to be a priority to fix it, and that's why I think they came down so hard on him. It reminds me a little bit of the Calvin Ridley suspension. Calvin Ridley did like 3 parlays, and like they gave him a year.
Yeah,
they are sending.
You did not like that.
No, because that was a message, and they're saying the NFL's like sending a message here. You better be tight with that data. So poor Jeff Ulbrich has to pay $100,000 so the NFL can send a message to all 32 teams. Do not let this happen. I think they have some sort of encrypted system next year. Like they're going to be buttoned up next year. They clearly were not this year.
EJ, you agree? How big of a scandal is this? Because Jeff Ulbrich he had to take it seriously. By the way, he couldn't stand up there and be like, "Guys, nobody died." Like he couldn't say what Booker McFarland said. He's got to take
Mike
it
Gundy.
very seriously, and it's his kid, so he's got to be totally disappointed that his kid would do this. And his kid filmed himself. It's a friend.
Yeah, he's part of the footage.
He's part of the footage. He didn't make the phone call, but he passed it off to a friend, and they acted childish. How big of a scandal?
I mean, I just feel like, to me, the Falcons got to be fine. To Perloff's point, it's to send a message. You can't. This is a security breach. Like, I don't think this is small. Like, I think, to me, like, if you can get a phone number for a guy, and we were talking about, whether it's their phones or someone else's phone, like, if you have their phone number, you could learn a lot of information about somebody. Like there's a lot of different applications. I don't want to dox anybody on here, but there's a lot of ways to find who people are, and sometimes the phone number is the first place to start. So if civilians are able to get people's phone numbers, that now puts all these players potentially at risk. So when we say, well, nobody died, nothing happened, it's like, well, yeah, not in this instance. We don't know what could have happened if those numbers got out more and more communication would have happened, or they used this in a different way. So to me, like, I think it is important. And I do think there's like a optics level of, like, I'll be honest, like, young privileged kids like trying to like humiliate young athletes. I think that looks crazy, and I think it's disgusting. And I think that I think to minimize it, I think is
So you
I don't like that.
That there was okay. So it's and just to distill this down, it's like, son of a coach, feeling entitled, feeling emboldened, feeling jealous, feeling all those things, whatever it may be, and then acting out on it.
It feels like this is their way to get back at the jocks that they couldn't be.
Yeah,
like,
but the only thing, Jack Ulbrich is actually a really standout football player, ironically.
Right, he's in D3, I guess, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be Shedeur, but he is playing.
Yeah, I just, again, like, because I saw the clip of someone calling, I think, Mason Graham. And it's almost like identical clip with different kids.
Yep.
One kid, the other guy's wearing an Ole Miss shirt. This kid, I think, was wearing like an LSU or something like that. So it's like the same imagery. Some guy from an SEC school who can never, hold, Mason Graham's jock or Shedeur Sanders' jock is saying, this is my way to, like, get at them and ruin them. And I think that that's corny and lame. And I think that, like, I think to minimize it, I think is bad, because we minimize too much terrible stuff in society.
I know, but EJ, well, I mean, I don't know if we do that, but I think the other part, though, is it's really...
See Twitter recently?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think people are outraged by a lot of this stuff. But I think the question about it is not to say there's nothing we can do to stop it, but it's hard to think, all right, you're going to wind up every snot-nosed jackass, it feels like you're fighting a war that almost can't be won. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think just the teams having the number is the only way you prank call somebody. And the reason I say that is because at Michigan, there was the defensive coordinator that got fired and is now facing charges because he hacked into athletes' phones. It was women, and he was taking photos off their phones that were intimate, because there are these databases that athletes, I think, are plugged into.
Colleges have for transfer portal and things like that.
Exactly. So I don't think it's not the only way to get a phone.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys have followed college sports longer than I have, obviously. Like, how many football players or basketball players have talked about how week of a game somehow their number got out and they got a zillion calls? I remember DeMarcus Cousins played a game in Mississippi State. He had like 5,000 calls.
Oh, JJ Redick just had back in the day.
Yeah, talk about that. So this is not necessarily even new. I just think that this is a certain level that I think veers potentially dangerous because, again, you're talking about a security breach.
You want to know what's funny? I'm sorry, Pearl. People now do it and they have less shame about it because they're filming themselves. Like, they're doing it for the clout. Like, the people who called Mason Graham, obviously the guys who called Shedeur, they're filming themselves. It's like they're old-timey bank robbers. Like, you rob the bank and they're like, and tell them that Billy the Kid did it. You know, like, you're telling on yourself as opposed to trying to do it in a stealthy way.
I heard an interesting analogy. Sheil Kapati, our buddy at The Ringer, said this is a perfect scandal for Roger Goodell. They can act like this is a serious issue with the NFL, so fans get caught up in the culture war and ignore like the real issues, which is head injuries and like adding an 18th game. It's like, oh, okay, let's give them this red meat, let them argue about this. We'll find this and pretend this is a big deal. When meanwhile he's trying to get through his 18th game, and this is very NFL-ish to.
Yeah. Look over here, look over here.
But just to really come down strong on this. But there's about 100. I mean, look at some of the allegations of the draft prospects alone. Like, don't look at that. Look at this.
Right.
Look at the prank call. We're not going to talk about I mean, there are allegations against some players like that people decide. Ironically, the NFL Network talked about the Mike Green, the defensive end for Marshall, his allegations. ESPN didn't bring it up at all.
Yeah,
so like
two domestic violence
there's a lot of character issues with the NFL, so you can always – I just think that NFL made an example here of this guy. And, for example, the second caller, Mason Graham, we have no idea if he is a rich kid. Like, we don't know anything about him. So I just think that, EJ, to say, like, the optics of that this is a rich kid, like, the NFL can't make decisions based on that. They have to go on just sort of more of a simple fact.
But the NFL makes decisions on optics
10
times.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they really – that's why I don't think it's fair. This feels like an optics, feels like a PR move more than a fair penalty to me.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Are you somebody who was outraged by the prank calls and it really bothered you? Or are you somebody who's saying, all right, everybody, lighten up? I mean, to the credit to Shedeur and the Sanders is, as you heard Jeff Ulbrich, they were very gracious in saying, and Shedeur even said it, he goes, listen, was it childish? Yeah, but people do childish things sometimes. They took the high road on it. Let's quickly go to Colton, who's in New Jersey, wants to go back to the Lakers to talk about how J.J. Redick did not help his team in the playoffs. What's up, Colton?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
How you doing?
So I also want a quick touch on the Ulbrich situation. Again, it is childish from his son. By the way, why is the defensive coordinator getting the phone numbers? Isn't that a bigger story? Why he's never making the phone call? It's the owner,
no, I think
the
the
head
coordinators,
coach, and it's the GM.
No, the coordinators talk to the guys. I heard that a lot. Like, oh, I'm going to put on your offensive.
But the phone gets passed to them, though. They don't make the phone call.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like, after the fact, after these guys get drafted, sure, they should get their number. Again, that's nitpicking, but I just don't understand why these guys are even getting the phone numbers. I think it should be to the three major people in the organization, but whatever. I want to go back
Colton,
to J.J.
They're not getting him next year, that's for sure.
Yeah, next year I'm sure it's probably the GM, the owner, and the head coach who have the number.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what it should have been. But I got a gripe with J.J. Redick. I had early thoughts when the Lakers first hired him. Coming off TV, I'm like, what are they doing? This is a clown show. LeBron gets his podcast buddy. And then I bit my tongue because the Lakers actually played surprisingly well. They ended up as a 3 seed. I'm like, holy cow. J.J. Redick actually might have been a great hire.
Oh,
and then
Colton,
I watched
they were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, like from January to March or something. That looks like fool's gold. But yeah, go ahead. Good point.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there, I'm watching him last night, and he goes at it with the media member the night before and talking about how they're going to play small ball. And the thing is, Anthony Edwards was off last night. They couldn't hit a 3 to save their lives. And Rudy Gobert just dominated the glass, got them. I think he had over 10 offensive rebounds alone. How does J.J. Redick not get held to the fire from this game? This is an absolute joke. Again, are the Lakers going to win a title this year? I don't know. The big question, they tried getting Mark Williams at the deadline.
Yep.
They needed a center badly, but my goodness, how in the world does J.J. Redick get away with this? If he plays Jackson Hayes, they win last night, and it's not even a question.
Well, but he felt like he couldn't play Hayes in the series almost, period. Colton, solid call all the way around. J.J. Redick certainly deserves a lot of blame. I mean, you had Anthony Edwards go 0 for 11 from 3. The Timberwolves shot 7 for 47. You should not win a game when you are that off.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Would they have won with Jackson Hayes. Or Jackson
Did you
Dart.
trade back into the first round to get Jackson Dart?
I'm not so sure because Jackson Hayes, in the brief minutes he did get, was not effective. By the way, I love this guy. Only if the Mark Williams trade had gone through. Like, Mark Williams is Wes Unseld or something. He's just getting so much hype. Meanwhile, his team won 18 games in Charlotte. So anyway, I'm not sure that was the total answer too. I think they need a lot of help. They should a couple pieces away to me.
Yeah, is Miles Turner? He's a free agent this year.
Nice.
Miles Turner is, I think, one of the might be. I have no idea. Manny, can we hear some?
Isn't
JJ?
he a max player though?
I don't know. I have to go back and look. But JJ Redick on the Lakers, they just missed too many shots. That's what he thinks the issue was.
The offensive part of it tonight in particular was we missed wide open threes. We missed a couple shots at the rim. We got good looks.
Yeah, but is there also a part where the team looks so tired and so gassed, especially in the fourth quarter, Pearl, that of course they're missing shots because no one had their legs under them.
Yeah, which, by the way, is J.J. Redick's fault for playing too much and also roster construction fault for not having enough talent.
No doubt. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. EJ, can we put this poll question up about the prank calls? I don't want to be so flip as to say, is this a big deal? Because anytime you get a data breach, we all know what this is like when all of a sudden people start texting your phones, like trying to fish and catfish and get your information, and it really stinks. It's awful. But as far as, the grand scheme of things, like how bad is this? 888-710-4ISN.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We lost Maggie. Welcome back, Maggie Perloff. We're talking about sometimes kids say things online, which is a very serious issue, but sometimes little kids don't know what they're doing. And my daughter had an incident a few years ago.
Yeah, this is not Jax Ulbrich who was prank calling Shedeur Sanders.
No.
This is how we got on this topic, but I don't know if you want to share what your daughter
No,
did.
I can't.
Hi, this is Mickey Loomis.
I can't share that thing. But you know what? Sometimes 5 or 6-year-old kids make potty jokes. I don't know. Is that the right word? And my daughter made a bad one, and parents were like, you better be careful about what your daughter is writing in the group chat.
Wait, and you were laughing and your wife was like very embarrassed? Or
Yes. Yes. Very much.
That tracks.
And the thing is, this is my second daughter. There are a lot of first-time parents who think that everything is a giant thing.
Yeah.
First-time parent, and then for your second kid, like, Bogusch, it's like the second kid can basically,
set the house on fire, and you're just
go
like,
to the top of the building and dangle over the top. You're like, okay, just, come back for dinner. Right. So anyway, they were first-time parents who overreacted. But
you got a phone call. That's funny.
I got multiple phone calls about what my daughter wrote. And my daughter is the nicest kid. I'm going to defend her on this one. It's just kids don't know what they're doing. Anyway, but
Jax Ulbrich, 21 years old, pranking Shedeur Sanders and filming. Well, his friend gave the number to a friend. The friend did it. Pretend to be Mickey Loomis.
I have a question about this, and we'll get into. Do you think this scandal looks different in 10 years? I feel like this is one of, when you're in the heat of a scandal, it feels like this is all consuming. Like this is going to be a big story forever. I have a feeling in 8 years, this is not going to hold. Like, I don't think this one sticks as being as serious as it's being portrayed today. I think it's a little bit more, and I know like a lot of people disagree with this. I think it's a little bit more on the trivial side and will not stand the test of time.
So can I give you my prediction for like the not too distant future in terms of all of this? I think that kids in 10 years or something are going to be so dumbfounded and appalled. Sometimes you look at your parents and you're like, how did you guys, who was smoking cigarettes or who thought it was, good to I think we're going to look back in 10 years or 15 years, and they're going to be appalled at how much we put their information out on the internet. I think the kids are going to look back and say, why were you putting my photo out? We went through this thing with the internet and with social media at first where privacy just was not a thought. And I think sometimes it still is not, and that's every person's, discretion of how much they want to put on the internet. I just think that's going to be one of the things when kids look back and your parents look very out of touch. I think security and keeping things private, and I know everyone wants to do it for clout. I think we're going to have a shift there, a paradigm shift where kids are going to want to be more private about their online stuff. Maybe I'm wrong.
Just a slight shift on that. I think it is literally 180 degrees the exact opposite. My daughter Googles herself and says, "Dad, how come you don't put more pictures of me so I'm on here?"
Okay, so we're not there yet.
What are you talking about? Kids are dying to get their picture out of the internet. They would say multiply the number of pictures you. What kid does not want to? Kids are going to view the internet way differently than they do. They want their entire lives on there.
Yeah, but the society, we go back and forth on stuff. It's
not
a
kids.
pendulum.
There's no back and forth with kids. They want everything out there. Their phone is like surgically implanted into their hand.
But more data breaches and more people and bad actors getting, and not just for a prank call. I'm talking about for everything.
That's what moms think. That kids don't think that.
Jay is in Nashville. Jay, what do you think about this prank call scandal?
I don't know what Booger McFarland was talking about, but it is like as a computer guy or whatever, as a computer science student, it's a major thing because basically, okay, they got operating systems called Kali Linux, and Kali Linux is for hackers. It's an operating system that has a whole bunch of software that you can hack somebody in many different ways.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like Wireshark, but there's stuff like Metasploit as well. All I need is that phone number. I can build a packet, send that packet through via text because I got the kid's phone number because I hacked my own phone with Metasploit. Now I was looking at my cell phone camera. I was looking at everything.
Jay, you got weird hobbies, man.
No, I'm a student. This is for class and stuff like that. And that ain't a hobby. And believe me, and the people that it is a hobby to, it be some dude in their Fruit of the Loom sitting in a mom's basement hacking his phone number. And then on top of that, he has really famous contacts and stuff like that. Not only all that, you have Google Wallet, you have Apple Wallet and stuff like that.
No, it gets serious. It gets serious.
It gets serious. Another thing you got to think about, what if somebody was crank calling with a whole bunch of racial stuff, which would have sent the NFL back to the Colin Kaepernick days. Right. And then on top of that kid got word on the street, that kid got a code red on him as soon as he stepped out of the apartment. So it's why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, listen, Jay, we're not trying to downplay how far this can go, all right? And you study this, and you're doing this for class. Jay, great to talk with you, as always. And you see the extreme of someone gets hacked, and all of a sudden they're looking at you in your house, and that is so scary. We're talking about the prank call of it. It didn't get racial. I mean, this one didn't. It didn't feel like it was.
But here,
we're just kind of taking this on its surface. Yes, go ahead.
I mean, come on. When we look at the overall picture of where the country is, I mean, first of all, old people, number one, and then me, number two, or the risk of security. NFL draft prospects getting prank called is not what the Defense Department is looking at in terms of hacks. There's a major hacking problem. This, I don't think that this is the same thing as everybody. I get all these notes from my bank saying there's a major issue. Yeah. And I heard there's a new thing where if you click on the link, you get the virus out. There's major security threats. I feel like connecting what happened to these 10 draft prospects is not exactly the same as the global security breach on computers we're having. I don't think it's same to me.
Well, maybe it's slippery slope type of thing is what Jay's saying for individuals.
In 20 years, are we going to say, oh my God, you just can't protect your security? You know when this started? When Drew Rosenhaus got a prank call in the 2024-25 draft. Come on. This is a huge problem. This is different. It's just very different.
I wonder if maybe you and I take a little bit of a different approach to it because I'm old enough to remember a TV show on Comedy Central called Crank Yankers. It was a whole show just based on pranking people.
Should I dump that?
No, that was the name of the show.
What about the Jerky Boys? Anything?
No, Manny, have you ever heard of the Jerky Boys?
No.
Wow. You'd find it funny.
You would.
I'm sure I would anyway.
This was prank calls. I felt like almost went out of style because
the cell phones, probably.
Cell phones, yeah, and everyone's name is identified of it. What's different about this generation is they want the clout of it. They want to get caught in some ways because you wouldn't film yourself if you didn't want to get caught or didn't care if you got caught.
Kind of like back in the day, Punk'd. Remember, Punk'd, Manny, right?
Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah. It's along that kind of lines, I think.
Yeah, they used to call people unknowing. Well, Pranked used to prank celebrities. This would just be they would call a secretary at a business and mess with her and then put it on TV.
Yeah, it was a little, and I guess it had a vibe like Impractical Jokers too. I think it's changed, but you're right. Like, as kids, I think we made prank calls. Like, is your refrigerator running?
Yeah.
We definitely made prank calls.
Catch it.
I never went with that line, but yeah.
Oh, you had better ones?
No, we probably just call and giggle and hang up.
I was too afraid to make a crank call. I was terrified.
I wasn't good at them. I laughed too soon. I cracked.
Or the people would prank like the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
It took real stones to do that.
$100,000 fine for that one.
We used to just call like the boys that we liked, and like their mom would pick up, and we'd giggle and hang up. We were 12. I wasn't 21.
You know, our kids do not do that now. Our kids are exchange Instagram and DM each other, and there's none of this.
Bogusch has headlines. Keep them coming, by the way. Your thoughts on this cell phone pranking scandal?
Most of you can go back to mocking Rudy Gobert tomorrow, but his Game 5 in L.A. deserves a little respect today.
Here's Randall on the run, into the paint, out to Dante wing right. He'll move to his left. He'll fire in a three. It's offline. Rudy got the rebound and slammed it home. A new postseason career high, 27 points, and a new postseason career high, 21 rebounds for the big man.
Alan Horton on T-Wolves Radio. Gobert finishing with 27 and 24 in this 103-96 closeout of the Lakers. Of note from that highlight, Gobert dunking off one of the 43s that Minnesota missed last night, and they still won on the road to complete the mini upset. Head coach Chris Finch on his polarizing center.
Rudy's a winner at the highest level. Rudy Gobert. You can not like who he is, how he does it, what he looks like, etc. I mean, when you have this guy on your team, you understand what a professional and a winner is.
Gobert had limited impact over the first 4 games of this series with the T-Wolves matching the Lakers' smaller lineup. But last night, Minnesota stayed big and the Lakers didn't have an answer. And now their season's over. The Rockets, though, stayed alive with a 131-116 home win over the Warriors. Golden State pulled its starters mid-third quarter down by 29. Game 6 in San Francisco tomorrow night. On playoff ice, the Battle of Florida is over.
Bennett out of the box, maybe a 2-on-1. Yes, it is. Bennett, right circle, walks in, shot, and he scores! Fresh off serving the penalty. Sam Bennett takes the pass, bolts into the right circle, and the Panthers are up by a 4-3 score with 4:47 to go here in the second.
Doug Plagens on Panthers Radio. Florida with its 3rd win of the series in Tampa, 6-3 last night to take the series in 5. The Panthers trying to make their 3rd straight Stanley Cup final. The Capitals also moving on after a 4-1 win over the Canadiens in their Game 5, and the Jets beat the Blues 5-3 for a 3-2 series lead. Apparently all of that action watched by Perloff last night.
Good job, Darren Muji.
Yeah, I was telling Bogusch, move over, I'll do the NHL updates after watching 11 minutes of the Capitals.
Yep. What's your main takeaway?
Oh, my God. This Ovechkin guy, you guys seen this dude play?
You ever heard of him?
I mean, it's like a rocket off his stick.
No wonder he scored the most goals ever.
I know. It's amazing. No one saw it coming.
Oh, you guys have heard.
But I mean, talking about, it is funny. I hate to say this, like the contrast, LeBron going out last night and Ovechkin just still dominating. I think hockey
but here's
is
the thing.
a sport.
Ovechkin hadn't been out of the first round of the playoffs since they won the cup.
Right, which was what year?
What did we say?
18,
was
19?
2018?
Yeah.
So you can't just parachute now and be like, oh, we aged better than LeBron. It's
Well, hockey you can age because Jaromir Jagr is still playing somewhere in the world right now. So you can, I think it's a sport because it's such short bursts, you can age a little bit more. Maybe not.
Yeah, more guys playing hockey till they're 40 than NBA players.
So
sure.
I think that helps Ovechkin. I mean, Ovechkin just sits out there and rifles it. As I said, Maggie, just move over. I'm the hockey correspondent today. Tomorrow,
Perloff
that's
Pucks.
all you.
All right, but
Pearl Pucks.
Now,
Pearl Pucks, taking over for Manny Pucks.
But now I need Maggie for this. Shortly after defending his wide receiver room, Bills GM Brandon Beane reportedly signing a new pass catcher. So does WGR Radio get an apology before Wemby does? Buffalo reportedly bringing in Elijah Moore from Cleveland.
Yeah, let's not pretend like they just brought in peak Randy Moss, okay? Like, it's Elijah Moore on a one-year deal. He might not even make it to the opening weekend.
Go Bills.
But they
everyone
didn't
was
need receivers, and now they've got receivers.
Yeah, they got a guy who's been cut by how many teams?
Go Bills.
They got a guy that a weird, like, rarely used version of a tender that they had to pay him $5 million yesterday to clear what the Browns were going to give him.
What's that money? I was like, why is he getting $5 million?
I don't know, but this is not, oh, wow, we really plugged a hole here. No way.
I don't know. It just sounded like we shouldn't criticize or wonder where the pass catchers were, and then they signed a receiver the next day. Maybe you shouldn't have been so angry.
Well, everyone needs to calm down.
I think he also was a little high
deprived.
A little high on himself for a guy who's never won a title.
Oh, that's a shot. There it is. Yeah, there you go.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Seriously.
Well, I think,
relax.
I think you heard
Says the Jets fan.
Well, you heard what he. Yeah, I know you kill for Brandon Beane, but
I
here's
don't
the
care. I don't know. My thing is I'll say anything about the Jets, but he's the guy trying to win a title. That's what his job is.
Well, the one thing I did not like about it, I didn't mind him getting a little defensive about the receiver room because the offense was not the problem this year. But one thing I did not love hearing is I found Josh Allen, and good, you should. You did find. You found him. Okay, you traded up. You also passed on Patrick Mahomes. So, it can't just be, I'm going to dine out on finding Josh Allen forever here, because if you don't win with Josh Allen, it's not going to look good.
You guys are total idiots.
Does that make sense?
I hear you, but
you get credit for finding Josh Allen, but you're not going to, it's not going to be remembered well if you don't win with him.
There are worse flexes for an NFL GM. I understand what you're saying, of course, but still, it's not a bad thing to fall back on.
No, he's got that.
Yeah.
And they've kept him, and they've kept him happy and all of it. But
it does feel like a cheap trump card, though, because to compare me drafting Josh Allen to I was right about our mid receiver room is not the same.
Well, he did have, by the way, he had a good point because their offense was very good last year. So I think Brandon Beane kind of proved his point that you don't need receivers.
No,
they made the conference finals or the championship game with the number one receiver and without a number one receiver.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like the fact that he's even saying neither one was right.
Right.
Like clearly there's larger issues, which I think was his overall point.
Yeah, the defense.
Right. But him suggesting that, I was right. Like, no, you guys still lost.
You know what I was thinking about? Yes, definitely. I mean, to lose in the AFC Championship on the road to Kansas City.
By the way, if you get some first downs, you would have won that game.
No doubt. But here's what this is where I'll always go with this, and I think this is going to be the real test about Brandon Beane and how much power he has in the Bills organization. Sean McDermott has proven that he's a very good regular season coach. And then the playoffs happen, and he can't beat Andy Reid. So at some point, is the general manager going to end up having enough power that he could actually make a change here at head coach? And that's not happening so far, and I don't know if it's ever going to happen, and just we're in Sean McDermott's world and orbit forever.
Yeah.
But, Pearl, it's like this in sports. The Knicks fans are going through right now. Tom Thibodeau's a great regular season coach. In the playoffs, he gets out-coached. And Sean McDermott's gotten out-coached by Zach Taylor, by Andy Reid multiple times. I mean, if Mark Andrews catches a couple passes, he might be gotten out-coached by John Harbaugh.
Yeah, but I would say that counter-argument, they beat a much better Ravens team in the divisional round, talent-wise. Don't you think Sean McDermott on paper out-coached John Harbaugh in that game? Because the Bills had no right to win that game. The Ravens had Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that the Ravens were mounting this really big comeback in the second half, and Mark Andrews blew it for them. And I don't know what happens if they score there and he doesn't drop the ball in the end zone.
But I think they came in the better team. I don't think the Bills right out. You said it yourself. The Bills were supposed to be rebuilding last year. They were not supposed to be in the Super Bowl mix, and they got so close. Do you fire a coach who wins all these games and gets that close? Because
clearly
it's
no.
rare.
Clearly
it's rare.
no.
I mean, has a coach ever gotten this far? And you don't fire a guy after he gets to the AFC title game.
Right. I know, which is kind of frustrating because you understand that he's not a great playoff coach.
Well, I mean, he's probably better than Kyle Shanahan ways. I mean, he's won a lot of playoff games.
And he's been the reason why they've blown him. So 888-710-4ISN. That's a little Bills rant
I think it's
for you.
more the receiver room.
Believe it.
All right, Elijah Moore is going to help it all. 888-710-4476. We're talking about the prank call scandal. How big of a deal do you think this is? Falcons got fined $250K. Defensive coordinator gets fined $100,000 because his son was the one who took the number. Was this a big deal to you or a little deal? 888-710-4ISN.
But Rudy Gobert is dominating.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Maggie, I got to tell you, here's a major problem for LeBron James. Major problem. Probably the biggest problem.
That he just got ousted from the playoffs?
Nope.
What's that?
That there is no future in this Western Conference that involves LeBron James. It is going to... Ant-Man is 23. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 24. The Spurs are loading up. The Nuggets are still good. The Rockets are just learning how to play basketball. I mean, how is he going to put together a championship roster? This actually, believe it or not, might have been his best shot, and he didn't even have a chance this year.
Yeah, well, this roster was clearly, for as amazing as it was to have Luka Doncic basically fall out of the sky, and you didn't even really lose major rotation players to have to give him, to give him up. Anthony Davis obviously was the centerpiece, but you didn't have to give up Austin Reeves, and he was just terrible in the series, or especially last night. But it's weird to say it was a very incomplete roster. Obviously.
But the problem is, I don't think there's any cavalry. You don't need one guy. You're going to need three guys. This Minnesota team that they just lost to is going to get significantly better next season. I
know, but you act like they don't also have firepower. Like, they have Luka Doncic, who's in that equation of all these young, up-and-coming guys. This is what makes them have a chance.
I'll tell you why. Because Luka's 26?
Yeah.
Because Luka's got an old man game. He's not progressing.
Well,
Luka peaked at 21. He's never changed. He's always, Luka's already, I think, fully actualized as Luka. I just think that there are a lot of other players who are going to learn how to win at the highest level. I think the torch has been passed. I'm really thinking more about LeBron. I don't think Luka has a team around him yet that is going to get him to a title either.
But don't we kind of think about NBA players really hitting their prime kind of in their mid to late 20s?
Yeah, usually. But
it's not when you're 21.
Right, but can't you see other players improving more than Luka? It feels like Luka is what he is. I don't think he's going to get better and better.
Well, that's now on the Lakers, right? Isn't that on JJ Redick? Isn't that on, what's the next part of his career going to look like? Because there was a lot of guys who didn't win until their late 20s. They had to figure it out. The reigning champion Boston Celtics are a great example of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're talking about really a couple players. You're talking about SGA. You're talking about Anthony Edwards. You're talking about Victor Wembanyama. Like, those players, they have to figure it out. I don't put Luka in that conversation.
Well, that's just because you don't like his game right now. Jose is in California. What's up, Jose?
Hey, how you doing, Maggie?
Doing great.
All about the prank calls. Back in the day, we used star 6-7 to block the number so they wouldn't get us.
I know, but then couldn't you use star 6-9 to call back the number that just called you?
Nah, we just disconnect the phone.
Look at you, Jose. 3D chess.
But I was calling about JJ. When Rudy started going off, I can't believe how he didn't put Hayes in there.
I know. There's just that Hayes just lost. He lost complete confidence in Jackson Hayes throughout the series.
Yeah, even the camera kept pointing to him all the time, like, get him in there, get him in there.
JJ Redick, Jose, thank you for the phone call, is going to have to. This is going to be tough tape, I'm sure, to watch, unless he thinks, hey, this is Rob Pelinka's fault, not my fault.
I don't think there was an answer. And that's the second caller who said Jackson Hayes would have won this game. I'm not so sure. I mean, I came into the series. Remember, I said there's no way Jackson Hayes can do the trick here. They don't have confidence in him, and I think Jackson Hayes knows that.
JJ Redick playing the whole starting five the entire second half in Game 4 is ridiculous. And even if he had sat Luka for like a minute, it still would have been ridiculous. And then the desperation to have Maxi Kleber, who hasn't played since January, on the floor last night in the fourth quarter was silly. Ed's in the Bay Area. What's up, Ed?
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
We're great.
Thank you. A couple of comments real quick just on the Lakers. I don't understand what Rob Pelinka or J.J. Redick was thinking. You get rid of Anthony Davis, you don't bring in another big man. You put your chances on Jackson, and you don't play him. You're getting out-rebounded. You have Gobert like a monster mash here last night with 20-something plus rebounds. My personal gut feeling as a Laker fan that they just need to get rid of J.J. because he clearly act like he didn't know what was going on in that series completely. But to piggyback on the prank call, I believe that Jeff Ulbrich got a raw deal. His son compromised his iPad, got this number. I think that instead of finding him in the Falcons organization, I strongly believe that Jack, the son, should have been suspended from his university, lost a year of eligibility, and did not have an opportunity to use it as a waiver. So that's just my honest.
Well, Ed, I mean, that's really dropping the hammer on the guy. And thank you for the phone call.
Wait,
did
sorry.
lose a year of eligibility over this?
Help me out. Where's Jack's play again?
He was a high school standout last year because he played actually at a high school that's about 20 minutes away from where I live.
If he doesn't play D2 or D3, it's either D2 or D3 football in like Georgia or something like that.
I thought it was like a D3 football school.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, we're not talking about a year of eligibility. Who cares, right?
Well, he's saying he should be suspended from the team, right? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, but D3 doesn't have like real rules like that. I mean, it's D3.
Now, Jeff Ulbrich did say yesterday that they're going to start doing a lot of community service. So that's... I don't know what type of community service is connected with prank phone calls and things like that, but
work at a call center.
That's what I was.
Work
at
a call center.
Yeah, and like for like
like
cancer,
a nonprofit
cancer research. Yeah. Some kind of like environmental cause, something like that,
or just for doxing.
I don't think he'll be doing that.
Is there a call center for guys who are falling in the draft and they're
some kind of emergency helpline?
Yeah. It's called 1-800-GET-AN-AGENT.
I think it's Michael Irvin believes
it's called
it was
LinkedIn.
Michael Irvin thought it was.
This is Will Levis. It's not going well tonight.
Hey, get your CDL, buddy.
Oh my God.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Gentlemen's sweep. Good night, Lakers. And good night to the season. A season that will be remembered forever, Pearl, because of the trade for Luka Doncic. And it ends in a whimper. Luka was not good. He hurt his back last night. He was hobbled. He looked slow. LeBron was not good last night. JJ Redick was not good last night. Austin Reeves was not good last night. And, quite frankly, the Timberwolves, outside of Rudy Gobert, were not great last night, and they won anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so interesting. Reggie Miller said early in the game, the Lakers looked tight in the sense that they were feeling some pressure. They did not come out loose and ready to go. So I think they saw the writing on the wall, and I think LeBron knew he did not have really the weaponry to compete with Minnesota.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was a tie game. They were up by 1 late in the fourth quarter, like in the 3 minutes left to go, about 2 minutes left to go, but they just couldn't close it out. You're right. I never got the sense they really believed.
Yes.
But they were kind of playing the role. They were kind of going through the motions, if you will.
And we keep coming back to it. It seems obvious now, the decision to play all the starters for the entire second half in Game 4, you saw there was I know his back was hurting too, but there was a sort of a short shot that Luka missed at the end of the game that he hits all the time. Yeah. Like it was pure, his legs were not there.
Let's hear from LeBron James. Manny, can I hear cut 1? So LeBron was asked about not having a center, and he was also asked in this clip, we don't have the question for you, but I'll set it up. He was asked, did you feel like you had to really take on a lot more of a physical load over the last few weeks? And do you think that played into exiting the playoffs in the first round?
No comment. I'll never say that because my guy AD said what he needed, and then he was gone the following week. So I got no comment. I put that uniform on every night. I gave everything I had, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we know where LeBron feels like the blame lies, which is the front office who didn't give him a center and traded away AD. Obviously, AD was always asking for a center, Anthony Davis. But it feels a little silly, for LeBron to say that when you did get Luka Doncic back.
No, but I know what you mean, Mag, but the truth is they definitely need. I mean, Rudy Gobert, who's never really been as effective in the playoffs, just got 24 rebounds on you. He's right.
Let's hear more from LeBron. Not sure how much longer he's going to keep playing.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. It's something I sit down with my family, my wife, and my support group and kind of just talk through it and see what happens. And then just have a conversation with myself on how long I want to continue to play.
I mean, I'll spare us all the entire offseason here. He's definitely going to play because, first of all, I think he wants Bronny to stay in the league, and there's no guarantee of that once he's off the roster. unless they have some kind of handshake deal. And then the other part is, you got to give this a second year, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
The LeBron-Luka experiment, this can't be half a season and then done.
I like my plan, though. If you're LeBron James and you really want to win a title, wouldn't you get out of there? Wouldn't you go, and my spot, where do you go when you're LeBron? You go back home, baby. Go to Cleveland, and I'm saying that kind of as a joke because he did it before, but you got to get out of this West. He said, I'm going to do one more symbolic year at home in Cleveland, you add him to that team, boom, you're in the finals. I mean, they're the best. They have won 64 games this year without him. I just think that he's looking at this Lakers team. Normally, we've talked about this. LeBron usually 3 years, right?
Right.
3 years and he's gone. But now he's stuck around L.A., we think because his son. I think if he really, really wanted to win at the highest level, he would leave.
Okay, but here's the deal. It's not fantasy football or fantasy basketball.
Yeah.
Like there's real life stuff here about that. And two, I can't help but bring this now to the GOAT debate, which I know we love to have around here about LeBron and Jordan. And you and I have argued over this about how much credit LeBron would get for a title, even with Luka. And you think not much.
We're getting into a bus driver, bus rider conversation.
Exactly.
No, I didn't say.
You're telling me if he goes to Cleveland, he's going to get, and they win a title that anyone's going to be like, you know what? I think LeBron is closer to Jordan now. Man. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why LeBron's playing basketball at this point. He's playing because he still can play at a very high level and the Bronny aspect and all that.
That's fair.
But going to Cleveland and winning on a Donovan Mitchell's and, whatever. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen's coattails is not going to do it.
It's not even because Cleveland's so good. It's just the West is so ridiculous right now that he can get to the final. He'll lose in the finals, don't get me wrong. But I just think he's got to look at next year. And I don't think the Lakers have enough moves to bring in. They don't just need a center. They need 3 or 4 more pieces so they can go 9 deep. Or what do you go, 8 deep? I just don't think they brought in guys like Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith who are good defenders, but you saw their limitations, I think, in this series. I mean, you can't just win with LeBron at this point, Luka. You can't have a two. And you think about LeBron's great teams. It wasn't just 2 guys. Obviously Bosh and Wade, but even when he was with Kyrie in Cleveland, like J.R. Smith would step up, Kevin Love would step up. There's something wrong with the roster, and I think I agree. LeBron was calling out Pelinka more than anything.
Kyrie Irving, by the way, in the building, injured in the building, though, to watch, and he was sitting front row. I think this is interesting. I'd love the audience to weigh in here at 888-710-4ISN. For the Laker lovers and the Laker haters, we're asking, who do you blame the most for the Lakers losing in 5 games to the T-Wolves? We gave you Luka Doncic, LeBron James, J.J. Redick, and Austin Reeves. LeBron James is winning this poll slightly. You blame him the most? And Luka is getting no blame on this whatsoever. Okay, maybe his back was definitely hurting last night, so you got to give him some. But you would really blame LeBron more than J.J. Redick? That I don't understand.
Well, actually,
or Luka for that matter. And again, I know he's playing through an injury. Well,
but why would you blame Luka? Luka just got there. It's not his team.
Dude, he's one of the best players in the NBA. I mean, he's younger. He's one of the best players in the NBA. They were in the finals last year.
But it's not. Yeah, I know. But he's not really the kind of player who's just going to come in immediately. Like, he needs some time. He just got there. He's like, how many games did he play? Also, why are you blaming J.J. Redick? I don't think there's another coach who could have taken this team anywhere.
Well, maybe then it's more Rob Pelinka. But Rob Pelinka... Yeah, I mean, yes, maybe it's just the construction. But it feels weird to say that when you have these 2 guys on the team and they lose. And guys, we're not talking about who do you blame they didn't win a title. They just got gentlemen swept out by the T-Wolves, and Rudy Gobert was looking like Wilt Chamberlain.
I mean, it's also, we can't say the West is too hard and there's nothing they can do about it when they just played in this Western Conference and they finished 3rd in the West.
But, come on. They won how many games? 52?
No, but my point is that they're clearly... This was not a close series. They lost in 5 games. Like, there's only a 2-game difference between the T-Wolves and Lakers. That's just, it should be a 7 or 6 game series. It should be a long series.
I mean, 2 years ago, they got swept by the Nuggets,
but
right?
the Nuggets were
the 10,
12 games better than them, right? Like, they were a much better team. Like, that's where I look at this and say, we can say the West is tough. It's like, well, they played the West. That's the conference they play in. They had a good record. So why did you guys get beat so early? It could be matchups. Pearl could be right about that.
They won 50. They were 50 and 32. for contrast, the Memphis Grizzlies were 48-34, and they got destroyed in the first round. So they're basically the same exact record. The West is bananas.
Grizzlies got destroyed by a 66-win team. It's totally different.
I just wonder if there's nothing you can take anymore from the regular season outside of like OKC or Cleveland, and they're these far and away number one seeds. But after that, because guys are load managing, they're not playing on certain nights, they're playing on other nights, and not all records are created equal. That Memphis team you said won 48 games. They could not be any team with above 500 record.
Yeah, and then Ja got hurt too. But also Minnesota had a bizarre. They should have been much better this year. They said Rudy Gobert
peaking at the right time.
Right, they had a very up and down season because they were adjusting to a new team. I mean, if you're going to be fair to the Lakers, they only had how many games to put this together? You need to be on the court for a whole season. It was unrealistic to expect LeBron and Luka to gel immediately with all these guys. You got to give them another year.
And to be honest, too, we think about Pelinka. We keep saying this: the trade was rescinded. It was rescinded by the Lakers.
Yeah,
like they're the ones who decided. They looked at Mark Williams' knees or ankles, whatever was wrong with him, and said he's not fit to play in the NBA. And then he played the rest of the season. So why was that trade rescinded? Like, and look, maybe 5 years from now we'll see Mark Williams has some issue that doesn't allow him to play.
Yeah.
But Pelinka's gonna have to answer that question. Like, he could have very well been a Laker. Maybe this series is different.
I love that Mark Williams is the missing piece.
Did you see his tweet last night, by the way?
No, what did he say?
He had like, I don't know. He did like I think he did the R.I.P. Bozo post I saw on Twitter last night.
I want my damn respect too.
Yeah, I mean, people may be getting a little too giddy about the Lakers losing this one. I think Mark Williams would be one. I don't know where Nico Harrison is, the Mavs GM.
He posted that smiley face last night.
Yeah. Haters.
I mean,
yeah.
Mark Williams
like
was in the G League 17 months ago. So, I mean, it's not like this. He was definitely Will Chamberlain coming to join Jerry West to take the Lakers over the top.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 15 and 10 this year. I mean,
For the Hornets.
Right, but still. I mean, it's the NBA. It's not Jackson. Jackson Hayes wasn't doing that.
No,
I'll tell you that.
Jackson Hayes could have got 15 points with the Hornets. They were awful.
Jackson Hayes is terrible. That's not going
to. He was what? Was he the 8th pick overall? I mean, he was at least a high lottery pick.
He was a high pick.
I mean, here's the part too: is that they were going to trade Dalton Connect, right? Was going to be the centerpiece of that trade,
he didn't
play for the last month of the season, and then in the playoffs. Here's JJ Redick. He will look for ways to be better moving forward.
I'll use my own thoughts to evaluate myself, and I'll use what my players say and what my coaching staff says to evaluate. But you know, I know I can be better, and I know I will get better. I don't necessarily take any satisfaction from how the year went. That's not to say I'm not proud of what the group was able to do and how we were able to figure things out on the fly.
Redick here, you know, I don't know if you saw this, Pearl, a small one, but before the game, coaches have a media availability in the playoffs. They do press conferences pre-game. And JJ Redick was asked how much is he going to consult with his assistants in timeouts and breaks about the rotations because he played his entire starting 5 the second half of Game 4, and he walked out.
Wait,
he was like, "That's a weird
question?
question. That's a weird question. I talk to my assistants all the time. I'm out of here."
That is a bit of an insulting question. It's like,
well, you're on the brink of elimination, and your team just. I mean, you have it. Oh, let's hear it. We got JJ Redick. So again, this is pre-game. Not happy with the question.
As you watch the film, what do you recall about your thought process in the moment? Sticking with the 5 you stuck with in the fourth quarter the other day, and is there an assistant or someone maybe that you'll lean on tonight, maybe to try to get some other guys involved if that opportunity presents itself?
Are you saying that because I'm inexperienced and that was an inexperienced decision that I made? Do you think I don't talk to my assistants about substitutions every single timeout?
No, I just think there's a lot of coaches lean on their assistants in those situations.
As do I, every single time. That's a weird assumption.
Thank you, Coach.
And then you hear him just put the mic down. We've wondered how JJ Redick is going to fare here because that was before the game, okay? So now you lose and, getting snippy and giving you the whole JJ Redick, I don't know if it's the right tactic.
I'll tell you what. One of the stunning moments I saw from last night's game was I think it was the first half where Reggie Miller says during their they do the meeting with the coaches where they talk pre-production meeting, and he said that he had to tell JJ Redick that he had to let go of Game 4. Like he felt like in the comments he was still holding on and defending that decision. And Reggie had to tell him, like, hey, you got to let that go, man. And then, forgive me, I don't remember who the sideline reporter was, but she also said that J.J. Redick came to this game looking tight and anxious.
Yeah.
That sounded like a tight and anxious man. She was referring to that press conference. She said even after that, he seemed very tight coming into this game.
Yeah, and he got out-coached.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of?
By a good coach, by the way.
Basically, there were so many. Remember, really, Herm Edwards was the one that he had to have a guy who told him how much time was left in the game. Dick Curl. He hired, and Andy Reid had this guy too. There's certain coaches who have trouble with clock and game management who hire a coach to just remind them of the situation.
Definitely.
I think that's what they were saying to J.J. Redick. Like, do you have a guy who's on top of you to keep the rotations fresh? Which is actually kind of a fair question, but I understand why Redick was offended.
Yeah, well, I think he's easily offended, too, because I think he is always looking for the chip on the shoulder, and he's always looking for that. But, yeah, that'd be like the analytics guy now, the go for it on fourth down guy now in the NFL, right?
Well, I do think a lot of NFL coaches do have coaches exactly in that situation who there's a lot to keep track of in a game. And JJ might have lost track of his rotation.
Yeah, is it Luka getting taken out on a stretcher? Was that how he knew how tired he was? I'm just kidding. But, do you really need a get-back guy for that? I don't know.
The get-back guy. Well, that's McVay, right? That guy who basically has to go to the gym 6 days a week to hold Sean McVay back. He's such a wild man on the sideline.
Maybe he's a big dom.
He needs needs a fixer.
Yeah.
Just clearly there's something missing here. I like what we're doing. We're helping the Lakers. Every team needs a big dom.
Well, here's the thing about Redick, though. If he's gonna take everything personally and all of that, and it's gonna get tight. Well, there's also things on the court that we can criticize here, not just the rotations. The Maxi Kleber move was indefensible.
Well,
I mean, you look so desperate that he put a guy in who's playing in the fourth quarter of this elimination game who hasn't played since January 25th when he was a member of the Mavs.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. I mean, it was a terrible coaching performance.
But is he trying to send a message to Pelinka? Because then, if so, like, hey, this is who I have. Like, these are the groceries I can cook the meal with. But even that, I don't like because it's playing out so publicly.
I mean, I think he was grasping at straws. I think, and I tweeted at halftime, I was like, "There's no more adjustments for this series. It's over unless something astronomical happens." And didn't take a basketball Einstein to know that.
Yeah,
he had nothing, and I think that for him. My concern is he long for this job? Like, because it was a bad playoff loss, but this was a season in which it was a good season, and you're still in the middle of a playoff series, and he's having a meltdown. We just did meltdowns yesterday, and we had one literally later on in the day. Like, to me, I know someone called him J.J. Thibodeau, and I know I complain how much Tom Thibodeau drives me crazy, but, like, Tom Thibodeau would just said a nonsensical answer, and would have, like, that would never been a story. Because, like, as crazy as Tibbs is, he does know not to give the Met media anything. He knows not to put
unless
yourself.
It's complaining about the refs.
And like to me, that's a waste of energy to be wound up about this. I wonder for JJ, like he seems like a pretty decent coach, but the temperament's got to change.
Just like the 20th time he's got into it. Like it wasn't just the playoffs. He's been like this all year long. You know, I actually thought he was better than I thought he was going to be. I'll be totally honest. I thought he was a pleasant surprise as a coach.
Well, you know, you get Luka Doncic traded to your team. They were fine before that, but it's not like the cupboard is bare here.
Yeah.
It was a bad matchup. The roster is not complete. I'll give you that. But they traded for one of the best young players in the league. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Will Luka LeBron ever win a title?
Kleber, by the way, had a much better plus-minus than some of the other guys. Kleber played 5 minutes and was -1. LeBron -14. Explain that for your goat bag.
Who do you blame most for the Lakers losing? LeBron James now on our poll at Maggie Pro getting the lion's share of the blame here. Do you see it that way? I do not. 888-710-4ISN. And he was not good last night.
Wait, but who did you vote for then?
I voted for Redick.
So, yeah, I don't see that Redick could have done anything with this. We should add Pelinka.
I also think Luka Doncic, again, aggravated his back. He said that it did hurt. He was still out there playing. But does Luka get any blame for this, too? Because you were getting the full Luka game.
Why would you blame Luka? I don't know. It just doesn't feel like...
Because he looks slow.
He wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean...
He couldn't hit a shot.
Yeah, have you ever seen Luka Doncic play? And he, by the way, you say he didn't hit a shot probably at 25. He just sort of guts his way into points.
The fourth quarters, they were so... Yeah. I mean, listen, and I think they were gassed. Let's see. Luka, 7 for 18, 2 for 8 from 3.
28 points. His leading scorer by a long stretch. I mean, it's Luka. trust me, he has bad shooting games. He has good shooting games. He is what he is. I think that he needs much more defense around. Remember last year, the Mavs were like, you know what? Luka's got his limitations. We're going to bring in these two amazing defenders at center. Like, you got to start building around Luka. Actually, we shouldn't even be talking about LeBron. We should be talking about how do the Lakers build a champion around Luka, because they need completely new pieces here.
888-710-4ISN. Luka's. The L.A. Lucas, basically. The L.A. Lakers.
It's not a bad headline.
That's coming. We'll be seeing that soon.
We also have the prank call.
Instead of the Lakers.
The prank call scandal in the NFL. How outraged were you by that? Kind of feels like there's two camps here. There's a camp that's saying this is beyond awful, terrible, and hated to see guys get prank called on their big night and have it maybe ruined. And two, it's like, well, it was just kind of a stupid kid. Did the dad really deserve to get fined $100,000 because of his dumb kid? Made a stupid decision? 888-710-4ISN. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
Okay. You're in a 5-minute break.
Down in Music City, there's a man named Jay. He's tuned in to Maggie and Perloff every single day.
EJ's at the bar with a cold, cheap beer. Says Trae Young's no big deal, don't bring him here. But the Knicks lost again and it's starting to show as he punches the jukebox playing Old Town Road. I'm over Trae, he shouts as he tips his hat, but his phone's buzzing with Hawks game stats. Pickups parked outside, girls waiting to ride, but EJ's ranting about Trae instead of his bride. EJ don't care about Trae Young, no way, but he's crying in his beer when the Hawks outplay. Just a small town punk with a lucky streak, but Trae's living rent free every Knicks lost week. EJ's got a shotgun rack and a pickup truck. Trae can't break my spirit, I don't give a. He's got a girl on the side, but she's feeling ignored, cause EJ's busy yelling Trae can't score no more. I'm over him, he growls as the whiskey pours, but he's watching replays from game before. Small town pride, a Knicks fans fight, but Trae's shadow looms in the neon light. EJ don't care about Trae Young, no way, but he's crying in his beer when the Hawks outplay. Just a small town punk with a lucky streak, but Trae's living rent free every Knicks lost week. EJ don't care about Trae Young, no way, but he's crying in his beer when the Hawks outplay. Just a small town punk with a lucky streak, but Trae's living bout revenge Knicks parade day. Get that Hawks kid out of my town, but he's playing Trae's highlights when no one's around. So here's to EJ with his beer and his pride. His girl's in the rear view, but Trae's on his mind. Small town dreams with big Knicks pain, but Trae Young's the thunder and EJ's rain. Punk with a lucky streak, but Trae Young's the thunder and EJ's rain. EJ's living free every Knicks lost week, but Trae's living rent free in EJ's rain. EJ's got a shotgun rack and a pickup truck. Trey can't break my spirit, I don't give a. He's got a girl on the side, but she's feeling ignored, cause EJ's busy yelling Trey can't score no more. Shotgun rack in a pickup truck. Trey can't break my spirit, I don't give a. He's got a girl.
Maggie got an invite to the party of the year, but Colin.
Born in the summer of '94, Zach Hill came to play. From Philly to the airwaves, making noise every day. Temple's pride on whip, sports director in the booth, and turned a '94 whip where he sharpened up his truth. From the Jersey air on Fox Sports 90/20 to Eagles post games, making Mondays funny. Late nights on CBS, the Mad Dog in the mix. Now he's prime time 3 to 6. From the Jersey air on Fox Sports 90/30 to Eagles post games, making Mondays funny. Late nights on CBS and Mad Dog in the mix. Now he's prime time 3 to 6. Oh, Zach Jobs on the air, turn the dial up. Last one stop legend in the making Daddy Bob proud. CBS Sports Radio every afternoon. Zach's got the taste that'll make you swoon. They say splat, 4 years in the stream, through the chaos and laughter, the wildest dream. You've seen Miraz stumble, you've seen Miraz fall. Droopy man boobs and chicken wings, he's done it all. From poops in his pants to wings in his throat, every moment's a story, every
from winning a
mishap.
title. I think they're much bigger problems. Like they need 3 guys, 4 guys, because LeBron is 40. He cannot be Scottie Pippen to Luka's Michael Jordan. Like they are pretty far away from a title to me.
Okay, but adding 3 guys in an offseason is not crazy to think. Like you shake up your roster, you realize where your pressure points are. Center is definitely one of them, and adding some more size inside so that you can maybe grab some of the rebounds if your guys are having an off night, or you can space the floor a little bit better if those guys can shoot as well, which is all the better and something you need in the NBA right now. Big men got to shoot. So yeah, like I don't think it's so insurmountable to me. Like you have the cornerstones of LeBron and Luka. This is not some flailing operation here. You're not the Utah Jazz.
But you're always going to be adding marginal guys unless. I mean, listen, I don't want to get into aprons and salary caps, but it's going to be your Jared Vanderbilts and your Dorian Finney-Smiths and your sort of older Russell Westbrook. I don't think you're going to be able to get, like Lakers style, a superstar in here. And I think you might need another star.
Well, I think you got to take a page out of the Nuggets book. The Nuggets are paying Luka. They're paying Jokic and Jamal Murray tons and tons of money.
And it's killing them.
Well, but they have a really good supporting cast. Is it killing them?
That's exactly why they didn't get to the finals last year, because they had to let their entire supporting cast go.
Okay, but look at who they have with the Aaron Gordons and the Christian Browns. And these guys, Aaron Gordon, I think, is like a role player plus. But you have guys, and I think the Nuggets now, you get past the Clippers, this is going to be a really dangerous team.
Well, they obviously fired their coach with 5 games left in the season. No, I think the Nuggets are exactly the same problem with the Lakers. They couldn't afford, or they didn't want to pay for anything deeper than their 5th spot.
Right.
So you need, they let Bruce Brown go. They let KCP go. Like they had, I think KCP was there, right? I can't remember. He's always in the finals somewhere or other. But generally, it's hard to have depth, and I think the Lakers just need a lot of help, and I don't see it happening in time before LeBron retires.
Let's go to Adrian in Maryland. We are asking you, do you think LeBron and Luka will ever win a title together? What's up, Adrian?
Hey, good morning, guys. They will never win a title. Luka doesn't play any defense. Reeves doesn't play any defense. LeBron's too old to play defense. They should have put Jackson Hayes out there. I'm not going to say they would have won, but he could have at least gave some kind of effort. Because if you looked at Rudy Gobert, he looked like he was playing against the senior playing against a bunch of freshmen.
He was like 2 heads taller than everybody.
He was just dunking on him like it was no resistance, which is funny. I want to get to this prank calling.
Yeah.
I've listened to all these shows, and nobody's asked the question, what was the DC doing with the number anyways? Shouldn't it just be your head coach, your GM, and your owner with the kids the phone number? It's like, you go to a job, you interview the job, and some random person in the company calls you, like a restaurant, a dishwasher. The dishwasher calls you and says you got a job. Are you really going to believe that? That's what's on my mind. I'm just trying to figure out, why does the defensive coordinator have this phone number when, especially a quarterback, what's he going to talk to the quarterback about being drafted?
Right. No, Adrian, that's funny. I think the defense coordinator, not exactly the dishwasher in the restaurant, but I totally understand what you're saying. I think everyone in the coaching staff in the front office probably has the numbers. It's like a database where they update it constantly to make sure everyone's got the right numbers.
Yeah.
I believe
Sorry, dude.
what I read was that everybody who gets the daily transaction wire from the NFL, that was the email list that they used to send out draft phone numbers. Ulbrich coordinators are on that, so he got that. Like, he gets every day that this person was put on waivers, this person went on IR, that kind of stuff.
Do you know how they tip picks? Like, many people have done that in the past. There's an intranet that teams and everybody on the team gets it. So the pick comes in 3 minutes before it's announced on TV. I'm sure it's on the same intranet. Intra meaning, like, listen to me with the fancy words. I'm sure it's the same thing. I don't think it's that hard to get it. The other thing, too, the head coach and the owner have to call even the 7th round picks. At what point do you hand that job off? I guess the head coach, but the owner ain't talking to a 6th rounder normally. There's no way.
Yeah, I guess I think the defensive coordinator might call guys.
Yeah, I wonder if you. Well, I was actually.
They took 2 defensive players, and the Falcons did. Let's just say, for example, they took 2 defensive players, including trading next year's first for Pierce from Tennessee. Like, Jeff Ulbrich's going to be in charge of making sure those guys are developed. Like, he's got to have phone numbers,
they had
right?
them. They definitely had. Have I ever told you guys about my fantasy to own an NFL team? It's high up there on my fantasy list. It'd be awesome.
I know.
I was thinking about it. In my fantasy, I don't form tight relationships with players because I know I'm going to have to cut them. I have a Patriots-like thing. So I'm not calling any draft picks. If I'm an owner, I'm staying at – I don't want to get emotionally attached to my players.
Right. This is an interesting fantasy. It's like you want to own the team and immediately just stiff-arm the players.
Well, I want to be Patriot-like because I'm going to – I want to win.
Robert Kraft got really close to Brady,
and it
Aaron
screwed up
Hernandez,
everything.
remember?
It screwed up everything. Yeah. I think, well, we'll get into that. That's a great point. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting dynamic here. I would have my DC by the 7th round. I'm like, you're going to be a special teams player. I'm not calling you if I'm an owner.
Pearl's cutthroat, man. Rob is in the Bay Area. Rob, what do you think about the prank call scandal sweeping the NFL?
Hey, guys. I think I have a little bit different take. I'm not sure. But one thing that's been really bugging me about this whole thing is that Jax Allright is not a kid. He's not some 13, 14-year-old kid trying to prank call a pizza place on a Friday afternoon. He's a 21-year-old grown man, and he stole from his daddy's laptop and tried to ruin another grown man's life. So that's what's the big thing that's bugging me here. Stop calling him a kid. He's a grown man. He's not a kid anymore, and he's not making, like I said, he's not just being jovial and having fun. He tried to ruin Shedeur's life, and
ruin his life. I mean,
I'm not saying ruin his life, but mentally, that's going to mess somebody up. You think, already what he was going through, but then trying to play some stupid prank. Like, dude, get out of here. You seem like a spoiled little frat rich kid, and I'm sick of everyone calling him a kid. He's not a kid. He's an adult.
Rob, I get that. I get that. I mean, 21. I don't know. I think you're still making childish moves at 21. I'm not forgiving it. I'm not. I'm just saying. I mean. Manny just pointed 2 thumbs at himself.
My frontal lobe is completely developed, and I still do stupid things.
That was a very interesting and very specific example that Rob just gave. It's not like you're prank calling a pizza place on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, it sounds like
Rob.
thought that. I just think this whole idea, like if he was somebody who was poor and called him, then it'd be okay. Like I just don't understand why, when the NFL is actually levying a real fine, they should consider these circumstances. Because there were
he's entitled, you mean? That he's the son of a coach?
I understand. Like, yes, I do totally understand the issue, but the NFL is sort of black and white about rules. So there were 10 players who were prank called that we know of right now. There might have been more. So are they gonna dig into all the other 9 and start fining everybody $100,000?
I think so.
What if it's a Scouts kid who only makes $75,000 a year? Does he get a $100,000 fine?
So
he better, because otherwise, what are we doing here?
I was thinking about this. It's not the same thing. But do you guys remember right before the draft when the Giants GM Joe Shane, his son, put out a Jackson Dart hype video on his Instagram, and then, lo and behold, what happened? The Giants ended up trading back into the first round for Jackson Dart. Clearly, the dad told the kid what they were planning to do, and the kid had
vice
knowledge.
versa. The kid might have told the dad who you're taking because the kid was the genius.
But to be fair, I think part of the reason, first of all, that wasn't a data breach. That was just someone doing something to show off to their friends about how cool they are, I think. But also, the kid was younger. And because that's what Rob is saying. He's 21 years old. You shouldn't be giving him any kind of, benefit of the doubt because he's still young. I think we did for Joe Shane's kid. It was like, well, he's 15.
But also, you have to remember, Joe Shane's kid was already a huge viral sensation. Adam Schefter just tweeted out the day before the video of him on off-season Hard Knocks saying, "Dad, do whatever you can to get Jaden Daniels." Wow, Jaden Daniels. So it is a little different. It's not some normal GM kid. This is an idiot savant drafting him. He's amazing.
And I think the difference with this as well is it was clearly a thing to humiliate Shedeur, right? Like, this guy had been projected to be in the first round. He was waiting this whole time. We knew he wasn't going to get drafted by the Saints. So it was like a way to inflict humiliation onto Shedeur Sanders. I think that's
wait, to counter that, EJ, 9 other players got hit who were not in the same situation, and it's any different.
Right, but none of those guys we expected to be drafted in the first round.
But that's just circumstantial. Like, were they trying to humiliate Mason Graham?
But the circumstances matter here, though. Like, it does. Like, Shedeur Sanders, we just talked about it. Is this the biggest draft story of all time? Everyone in the country knew that this guy was falling.
Yeah. But doesn't it change the story that they were hitting everybody haphazardly? They were pranking all over the place.
Well, not him. At least we don't know. It seems
but they were going to get Shedeur. I mean, they got Abdul Carter and Mason Graham and Tyler Warren. I just think that changed the story a little bit to me.
Yeah.
I hear you. Like, it was Shedeur is a big deal. I agree. It's the biggest draft story ever.
I just think that's why people are focused on that. It was because we knew if Mason Graham got prank called, he wasn't going to be waiting another day to get called, right? Like, he was going to wait another 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Like, Abdul Carter's going to wait another 5 seconds to get called. And if Shedeur Sanders had to wait literally a whole another day.
If Mason Graham had fallen, then we would have been upset at that prank call, too.
Exactly.
The fall does matter.
Yeah, we're asking you, how big of a deal do you think this is? Because some people are extremely offended by this. Others said, yeah, he's a stupid kid and, maybe he didn't deserve to get this much of a fine, especially for his dad, $100,000. Keep the phone calls coming at 888-710-4ISN. Bogusch has the latest.
Guys, the Rockets and Warriors are headed back to San Francisco for Game 6 tomorrow night, since those Rockets ran away with Game 5 last night, 131-116 in Houston, and they go back to Northern California, with some around the Warriors accusing the Rockets of targeting Steph Curry's injured right thumb. Draymond Green said it's obvious, but
I'm not one to come to cry to you about what the league should do. I see enough people cry about me, and I lose respect for those people when they cry about me, so I would not allow somebody to lose respect for me over that.
A shocking amount of self-awareness from Draymond Green.
Yeah, shout out to him.
I couldn't tell if that was crazy mature or like ridiculous next level, like pot and kettle and stuff like that.
I got nothing to say. Shut up! Shut up!
Okay, either way, here's Dylan Brooks saying whatever's happening is part of the game.
If I had an injured ankle, I would attack that ankle every single time. So, whatever they're saying on the broadcast, they can keep saying it.
And yes, the first accusations of this came on Warriors TV, I believe. Curry's thumb has been an issue since January. He plays in a wrap, as you've noticed, and he gets post-game treatment still on that thumb.
Have you guys seen a picture of his thumb?
No.
It is gruesome.
Oof.
It looks crazy.
Like Brian Baldinger level finger?
I haven't seen Brian Baldinger's fingers, but it looks like there's like a golf ball underneath like his like joint. It looks crazy.
Dude,
it's
Google
bad.
Brian Baldinger's finger.
Look at my
fingers. It's a thumb. It's a
his
pinky, and it's just to the left.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen.
Look at my
I've seen
fingers right
bad
now.
Fingers, yeah.
I have to go see a finger doctor. My ring finger is deformed right now.
Yeah,
I'm being dead
Finger
serious.
doctor.
No, if I show Andrea my pinky,
Yeah, no, I have to go. I think I.
You guys are the worst.
Wait, finger doctor. What are you laughing at?
Do not include me in this.
Finger doctors are huge. Like it's hard to get an
I think
appointment.
they're called finger doctors.
Well, hand doctors. Yeah. What do you?
Hand specialists.
Yeah.
Like orthopedists.
What's
but Wait,
what are you
hold on
talking
one
about?
second.
Who cares?
You guys,
What is the difference there?
Well, it sounds funny.
It does.
But the other part is you guys cannot start comparing your injuries to professional basketball players.
Why
we are not that show.
It's the same injury. I think I either tore this tendon or broke my. It's the same exact injury that Steph Curry had.
I'm looking at the picture of Brian Baldinger's finger. No, yeah, Perloff. Yeah, it looks exactly the same.
Well, Baldy is an exception, but you're telling me these fingers look normal?
You don't need them to do your job well.
Right. They didn't get caught in a face mask of an NFL player.
I'll back you up here, Pearl. He has to type a lot, so those
Yes,
fingers
he has
they
to
get a lot of.
I'm
a lot
actually
of work
really
in.
bummed. I think they're gonna have to go in and break my finger.
Oh, nice.
I'm super depressed about this. I feel like I'm gonna need surgery.
But they'll heal it. Like that's a means to an end. They're not just breaking it like mob style.
Just for fun.
Right? No, I didn't mean they're gonna break my finger because I owe them the
I
bill, Maggie. Like hopefully insurance covers.
Break your kneecap.
Nobody was implying. Yeah. Wait.
No,
Thanks for clearing
means
that.
for an end.
Oh, thanks for clearing that up. Because it wasn't clear.
Who cares how the surgery gets done as long as it gets done well? That's what I'm
Because
saying.
that
You're not going
means
to tell the doctor, can you actually not break it? You can just break around it? Like you got to do what you got to do. Do you want it fixed or not?
No, I mean, it's incredibly depressing to get finger surgery and not be able to play basketball for 4 months. And yes, that would be horrible to get surgery on my finger. It would stink.
But you don't have to get the surgery because the Golden State Warriors aren't relying on you to drop 30 in 2 days.
Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors of Brooklyn are, though.
Exactly.
No
offense. Red Hook Warriors.
Yeah, but Steph Curry's got
game gets serious.
$600 million in the bank.
Pizza's Knicks.
I got nothing else besides my Saturday morning basketball run. If they take
You're still
that,
playing, aren't you?
yeah, I'm saying that's all I have in my life. That's the only thing I look forward to.
What about your wife and children?
What?
What about your wife and children?
Yeah, they're there too. But I'm just telling you right now, my Saturday morning run is more important to me than Steph Curry's career. That guy's got his own production company. He's fine. Don't worry about him.
That
He's
means
got the
more
best
to you
doctors in the world.
than Steph maybe winning another title means to him.
Trust me, all the weekend warriors out there relate to this. It stinks when you get injured. EJ, you're the worst. I mean, you're 2 years of. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I got
it's been terrible, right?
Dislocated shoulders, and now this knee thing is the worst.
EJ is the worst. That's
You're like Maggie.
EJ has it the worst.
Yeah, you're just like, go to them and they're having them break your finger and reheal
Well, do you
it.
want it fixed? I'm just saying, I don't go into the doctor and
that's
say,
6 months of rehab.
well, okay, then just tape it up and get out there.
Just do us a favor. When you go to the finger doctor, if he suggests getting in a hot tub, walk out.
Yes, we know the last time you got into a hot tub for a questionable doctor.
No swirly baths.
You had some
ankle.
weird waterborne disease.
Listen,
I think it's funny. It's like, guys, I'm dating this new guy. It's amazing. I'm dating a doctor. It's like, what kind of doctor is this finger doctor?
Listen, I've had.
I'd be like, girl, run.
I don't even know if this guy does a whole hand, by the way. But go ahead.
No, I'm saying I've had Andrea complain enough about this broken pinky I had playing basketball at middle school that I will still talk about this injury. I don't care. I agree with Perloff.
Yeah. By the way,
matters.
I saw my old finger doctor in the city. He was Steph Marbury's doctor forever. Steph, I think, broke his hand. I saw the Knicks hand doctor. He wasn't even a hand doctor, by the way. He only worked on NBA players' fingers. So whatever. And he always used to tell me, all the NBA guys say, tell the team, give me 3 weeks off instead of 2, which was so funny. I was like, I should report that. But yeah, like, because if you're an NBA team, who's the most important person there? The finger doctor. Ask Steph.
I just love that you have to go to school for 11 years to become an orthopedic hand specialist.
This, by the way, that is hard to get an appointment, because hands are very, very vulnerable.
11 years of school for what? Just to be called the finger doctor.
Just to be called the finger doctor on national radio.
I think you guys are making way too big a distinction over the terms here.
No, just your history of doctors in air quotes and then dropping, I go to the finger doctor. It just was hilarious.
I don't know.
Also, I'm seeing here that it's not just fingers. If you're going to be an orthopedic hand surgeon, you got to do hands, wrists, and forearms.
This guy definitely is not looking at forearms. I was there, I walked into the waiting room and everybody's got wraps on their hands and
then there's Perloff. It's like, my finger hurts.
No, I mean, they're all there with broken fingers. Every single person. Yeah, Maggie, look at this. That's not supposed to do that. If you're on YouTube, this is not how a finger is supposed to look. That is a broken bone.
You need a finger doctor.
I need a finger doctor.
Left ring finger doctor only.
If I walk in the office, he's like, well, I'm really more of a forearm specialist. I'm right out.
888-710-4ISN. Thank you, Bogusch. Coming up, we want more of your calls on this prank call scandal. How big of a deal do you think this is? And secondly, the Lakers post-mortem, season's over. Who are you pointing the finger at? LeBron James? Is it JJ Redick? Who really deserves to wear it? Maybe it's Rob Pelinka, who's the general manager. So much more to do. It's the Maggie Perloff Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Packers won the game, Alec Willis led the way, throwing downs and running fast, make defenders pay. But we all know the real story ain't the win or play, it's Bellotti steak, back day, you'll dodge another day with the meat. We're all starving here, promised us some advice, but you always disappear. Stakes on the line, but you're off the grid. The lights MIA, many always hit. So with me, Pete.
Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Hyundai. The Hyundai Getaway Sales event is going on now. Get deals so right. It almost feels wrong, but don't wait. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. More Lakers breakdown. What went wrong? Maggie, I don't think there's easy answers.
There's not, because the roster's not complete, but I refuse to believe that we, A, all should have seen this coming, or B, that this roster can't get better in the offseason.
I'm doing a little bit of that. We should have saw it coming, even though I predicted them to be in the Western Conference Finals. We'll ignore that part.
It's not like any of this is being recorded, right? Let's go to Malik, who's in Tucson, Arizona. What's up, Malik?
Hey, good morning. First of all, I just wanted to say, that finger doctor conversation was pretty hilarious, I got to admit.
If you missed the Perloff talking about his finger doctor, you can always hit the rewind function on the Odyssey app.
Guy, I go in. It's anyway. Go ahead, Malik.
Yeah, that conversation happened last segment. We also have a podcast that you are free to download for all the ridiculousness. What do you got on the Lakers?
Yeah, I just wanted to double dip like the previous caller. First of all, let me go to the NFL. Yeah, he is right. The guy is 21 years old. He's not a child. I work in IT at a university. And a phone number is considered personally identifiable information. Mm-hmm. That is a data breach because it's personal information, and they're lucky that there's not a lawsuit, honestly, that you could really go that way. But back to the Lakers. I've been a Laker fan for 45 years. When he won a championship in the bubble, that was great and all. I'm one of those rare characters as a Laker fan. I never wanted LeBron. The guy's a mercenary. He destroys organizations. He doesn't play defense. I feel like he gets a lot of passes on a lot of things that he doesn't do. But I feel like when they won that championship, they had a formula that worked really well that the rest of the league doesn't really seem to see. I felt like they went with big men. They had men in the middle that really were defending the basket. And the rest of the league is really about standing around waiting for guys to get open to shoot three-pointers. Whereas the Lakers that year, they had that X factor where they didn't have great three-point shooters, but you couldn't get to the basket. They had guys that were getting rebounds, blocking shots, things like that. The minute they got rid of that roster, I felt like that was a problem, and I felt like this year I did see it coming as far as them not with another championship because they just don't have the roster right now. And Jackson Hayes, as Andrew said earlier, he's terrible. I know he's really young, he's tall and all that. He still needs to realize that he is tall, first of all, and that he can rebound,
right,
and that he can box out, and that he can block shots. But yeah, I just feel like right now the roster is not there.
So do you want LeBron to move on? You'd rather have him either retire or just kind of move on from the whole LeBron, era?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I've been wanting it for like the last 3 years. Honestly, I know it's crazy. Everybody gives me crap at work. I get it, but I feel like they need to move on. And when they traded for Luka, the hysteria was kind of funny because the guy, he scores a lot of points. He has great stats and all that. But one thing when you watched him in Dallas. One thing that really hurt that team was he doesn't play any defense.
Yeah.
And you can't have a guy playing no defense. Yeah, a guy playing no defense, and then you couple him with LeBron, who also plays no defense. So you're basically playing 3-on-5 every day.
Well, at least Malik, LeBron can choose when he wants to turn on the defense. Austin Reeves plays no defense. I don't know if he can fix that. LeBron has his moments.
That's a lot of no defense.
No, I get it. It's a lot of no defense.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
Malik, thanks so much for the phone call. I love, too, he says he gets a lot of crap at work because he complains about LeBron James being on the Lakers, right? I'm sure that's not that popular amongst Laker fans. I tell you what, the people who you should not give crap to at work, the IT people.
Don't mess with them.
You do not want to mess with the IT people. He just told you, I've got your phone number. I can crack open your whole life, Do not mess with IT people.
Yeah, I'm not sure the IT person's going to do that over an NBA argument necessarily.
No, I mean, they're ethical, but these are not the people you test.
Yeah, you know how I always
Jordan arguments. I wouldn't be surprised.
You know how I always give you crap about the Bills and EJ crap about the Jets? I don't do that to the IT people. I'm like,
do not.
You know, the Giants are looking up.
Yeah, let Alex and Paul just whatever they say.
Yeah.
Just whatever they want.
Giants are, in fact, looking up. You better be nice to me, buddy.
Yeah.
APs are also don't mess with IT guys. You don't want to mess with associate producers either.
Yes, because you record everything we have in the breaks.
Yeah, and I can also just literally just bring down the levels of your microphone.
Oh, yeah, right. You could take us off the air. Sorry, go ahead. You were making a point about the Lakers, and I interrupted you.
I was? No, I got on another path where I was going to mention that when you say looking up, do you mean 5 wins for the Giants next year?
Here we go.
Throw that out there. Can't get through a segment.
No, it's so easy. Unless you're at IT. No, it's funny to me, by the way. Malik's in Tucson, Arizona. And I get that. Like, I'm sure there are more Lakers fans there than notice he didn't mention.
Do you want to be a fan of the Suns?
KD and the Suns. Like, there's so many. It's such a national team. It's crazy. I'm sure every Saturday morning I go to basketball, we have a conversation about the NBA. The first thing we're going to debate is, can this Lakers team add enough to win a title? I think everyone's going to say no.
You know, what's interesting, though, about what he just said is that, was never on the LeBron, train, mercenary. Well, LeBron's been there for 7 years now. 7 years and a title. I think he deserves a little more than that. I would push back. And also, I don't know how many people want to get rid of him. Listen, do you want him for the next 3 years and $137 million? Well, that's a no. But I know people don't like the Bronny thing. We made fun of it.
How much do they dislike him for the Bronny thing?
I mean, him doing the passive-aggressive moment last night in the post-game press conference where he said, do you need more help? And he's like, well, I'm not commenting on that because AD made a comment and he was gone a week later. Like, LeBron doesn't shadow run the Lakers still. Come on. What are we? Bored on a day, but not yesterday. Keep them coming about the Lakers, the prank call scandal, and we get into Belichick, too.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Promised us summer ribeyes, but you always disappear. Stakes on the line, but you're off the grid. Pilates, MIA, many always hit. Packers won, but we won't win this fight. Pilates.
Andrew Perloff. He's got style and class. He's a top-notch doctor. Never goes half-assed. From his milky white ankle to his aching back, he's getting treatments that most folks lack. The Bowie's in the office getting royal care. There's a dude named Mike who's never there. Sam's just got an act for just disappearing. Leave you wondering, is he even near him? Walks with the best, Chris never at his desk. You think he's on vacation or just lost in the mess. One's getting pampered, the other's MIA. Mike Samter, where you been today? Perloff sipping tea, talking health with pros, getting all the scans while he strikes a pose. Mike, on the other hand, is just a mystery. Showing up to work, that's ancient history. You call his phone, but it's just a ghost. Has he vanished? Who really knows? While Perloff's filling up with precision and grace, Santer's nowhere like he's left the race. Perloff's with the best, Santer's never at his desk.
Maggie's got some giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're real real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet that make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs. Hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach, she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. Her feet made the music, folks yelled for more. At the beach, she's a hit, making giant sand castles. Her footprint's so big, they're like dinosaur battles. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on puddles, creating lakes for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs. Hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance, cleared out the floor. So here's to Maggie and her feet so grand. She's the funniest girl in all the land. With her giant feet, she's never beat. Maggie's big feet make life so sweet. Oh, Maggie's big feet make life so sweet.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Lakers lose last night. Down goes LeBron, down goes Luka. But what's next for both of them and the Lakers? Let's not let JJ Redick off the hook. It was pretty bad all around. Gentlemen's sweep. Minnesota Timberwolves take them out. And now just a lot of questions, and we're asking you a few this morning, including, can LeBron and Luka win a title together? Obviously, the roster has to change. And who are you blaming for this early exit? Again, we're not nitpicking here that they lost in the Western Conference Finals or lost in the finals. They lost in the first round. I mean, with LeBron James and Luka Doncic, you would think, Pearl, that that's enough firepower to get you to the second round of the playoffs.
But as you say that, you have to realize LeBron is 40, and you saw the age in this series. It's not, you say Luka and LeBron. Yes, it is Luka and LeBron James, but this is not normal LeBron James. This is not LeBron James of the bubble. He and especially the way the bubble was designed to give guys rest coming into the playoffs, like he does not have enough gas in the tank to do this anymore. Well, he's not the old LeBron. We just have, I feel like you can't face reality that your hero, LeBron James, has aged.
No, it's not that. I mean, I think moving forward, you've learned a lot here. I just don't know if the Lakers are going to heed these lessons, which is, yeah, you're right. LeBron is older. It looked bad last night. They all look tired, and they looked like they waved the white flag a couple different times, and then weirdly got it to like a 1-point game with 3 minutes left to go, and it felt like they made it close, but almost like going through the motions. I don't know. It was an odd game.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it did look like they were kind of not into it.
Well, and Luka had aggravated his back, and so he's kind of limping around. He's always kind of hulking around because he's so big, and he's not like light on his feet, sort of. So he's always kind of hulking around, and it looked even bulkier, I guess, last week, maybe is for lack of a better term. But then they have these stretches where they look unbelievable.
Yeah.
What I think for LeBron is next year, it's got to be all about the postseason. Hell, the rest of the NBA is doing this, and LeBron may have to put aside, hey, you don't play 65 games, you might not be eligible for these awards, these season awards. But what does it matter?
He's not getting them anyway.
Well, he might make like a third-team All-NBA or something. I don't know. But at that point, it doesn't matter. You're trying to win a title here at the end of your career. I think that's still the number one goal, not just play with Bronny and have a good time.
Well, listen, a couple years ago, there was a point where he faced a crossroads. And normally LeBron, he was on a pattern where he was leaving after 3 years. I said I think he likes being in L.A. because everyone loves living in L.A. I think he's got so much going on, too. He's got his production company. I think there were other reasons he stayed in L.A. besides winning a title. Remember we had this discussion? I think ultimately him wearing purple and gold is not about a title.
Okay, but then Luka Doncic drops from out of the sky.
Yeah, but no, even when this happened, you did not say, oh, well, they're going to be... win a title this year. I don't think a lot of people thought that they had enough to pass all these other teams.
Well, here's the thing, though. And now we're talking about this year's clearly out the door. Season ended last night. But the question now is ever. Yeah. Now, I would expect them to be competing for a title next year.
Would you really?
I would, because I have to, if I'm going to go down this road, I have to believe that the roster is going to change quite a bit.
But how?
Well, because NBA teams find ways to team build.
JJ
Redick hopefully would get better as a coach. I'm a little worried about Redick, though.
Can I share an uncomfortable truth about the situation? Maybe Luka and LeBron are not a great match.
But we weren't saying that when they got the
some
three
people,
seed.
Some people did say that.
No, people were clowned for saying that. It's like, I feel like there's an NBA kind of, like all the smarty pants NBA people who were telling you, how could anyone have questioned this? How could anyone, when they became, the 3 seed in a very tough West, it was like, ha, ha, ha. Remember people wondered, how are they going to share the basketball and all that stuff? And who's going to take
play the same position.
And who's going to take a shot at the end of the game? Well, it turns out their problems were not that. They had 99 problems. That wasn't one.
Well, I think Luka holding onto the ball too long is always a problem, but they have similar skill sets. They're both 6'9" and like to start at the top of the key.
Yeah, but I think LeBron has shown that he can really be a bit more of a chameleon than Luka can, right? Like LeBron, I think, can diagnose sort of what needs to happen on the court and can play a little bit more of that role.
Well, I think what they need is they don't need another scoring wing. They need, first of all, they need Anthony Davis, and then they probably
bring him back.
You said they need a facilitator, a point guard, per se. I just don't know if a point guard is really a thing with Luka. Because Kyrie wasn't a point guard on that Mavericks team. He was, when Luka sat on the bench, he was a scorer. They took turns scoring. Mm-hmm. And it worked, but I don't think long-term it was going to win a title.
Well, they need size, that's for sure. I mean, they got pretty damn close. They got to the finals. But I just noticed that when I saw Kyrie sitting courtside yesterday. Did anyone else like that? I know he's friends with both guys, obviously, but that didn't perk anyone else up? He's hurt, so I don't know what you do with it. He's got a torn ACL. But
isn't he going to sign a huge deal? Like, do they have the money? The Lakers, isn't he getting close to a max? Isn't that part of the rumors that people? I remember people ripping Nico saying you're going to sign injury-plagued Kyrie Irving to a max, but you're not going to keep Luka. So there's no way the Lakers can fit him in.
I don't think so either. I saw that.
Also,
and I was like, huh.
Talking about it, I know he's not the right fit for that team. That is not what they need. Another guy who just wants to score. Like they need a Swiss Army knife who can score, defend. They need a Scottie Pippen. They need
in his prime, Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson would be great, but I think they need even more athleticism because LeBron is older now and Luka's not athletic. So I think you need a guy who's going to run all day. And youth, you're looking at Anthony Edwards. You're looking at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Eventually, you're looking at Wembanyama. You're looking at Jokic.
Sean Gilgeous-Alexander.
They're great players and great teams coming up. It's going to be hard to hold all those guys off. Those guys are going to win titles in the NBA. I just don't think LeBron is in the discussion anymore.
But the difference with all those guys, maybe with the exception of Wembanyama, is all those guys live in the paint. Which suggests to me you need someone to protect the rim. Like Jokic, SGA, Anthony Edwards, like these are the guys that Jokic obviously will just punish you under the basket, but Anthony Edwards and Shea are living in the paint, and that's how they dominate games.
Anthony Edwards had more threes than anybody in the NBA, though.
Yeah, but he also is one of the best slashers in the NBA.
Yeah, he's got that move. And Shea's like mid-range, so Shea doesn't get all the way to the rim all the time.
Sometimes it's not necessarily even about actually protecting the rim. It's protecting the paint. All teams in the NBA are trying to get paint touches.
No, I feel
once you get to the paint, you can spray it out. Like, if you don't have a guy there to deter people from going inside, it allows. I mean, Julius Randle last night was just walking into the paint because he knew there was no one that could strip him or no one that would block his shot. Paint touches are the key to the NBA, and they're not going to beat any of those teams with the guys they got now.
Yeah, but I thought the whole thing was taking your center off the court in the playoffs, like the Celtics. I don't know. KP
is a massive
He made
difference
no
in their
impact
defense.
last year, right? Wasn't he?
He got hurt.
How many games did he actually play in the playoffs?
No, he got hurt, but he is a massive difference in their Celtics defense, though.
Then they basically sent 5 wing guys out there and destroyed everybody. I thought it was wing defenders, right? Isn't that like the 6'6" wing defender? I thought was where the NBA was going. You have a Rudy Gobert, but you take him off the court because he'll get hunted in the pick and roll.
Well, to be fair to Rudy, last night was all about him. I mean, he was spectacular in this game on the offensive side, on the defensive side. You know, the Timberwolves missed so many shots, but because Gobert got so many rebounds, 24 rebounds last night, Wilt Chamberlain-esque, 9 of them on the offensive side. That's how Anthony Edwards can go 0 for 11 from 3, and you still win a game on the road, a closeout situation in the playoffs.
I don't think you could talk about Rudy Gobert without noting how very, very bad he's been in this series. He was going up against Jackson Hayes. He was 4 for 13 in the entire series, averaging 2.7 points per game against a team without a center. So, like, Rudy Gobert trust me, he will not get minutes against the Warriors.
No, I know.
They're going to pull him out off the score. He was great last night, and my point was the Lakers were so tired, even Rudy Gobert could kill him.
Maybe Chris Finch, their head coach, took advantage of it. Like, we see where this is, and he went to town. We're asking you, who do you blame most for the Lakers losing in 5 games to the T-Wolves right now? LeBron taking most of the blame, 42%, while J.J. Redick taking 40% of the blame. Luka unscathed here.
Okay.
So you can let us know. The other big story, and you can call us about the Lakers at 888-710-4ISN and how you feeling, Laker fans and Laker haters. The other big story that's going on today is yesterday, Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich had to have a press conference because his son, Jax Ulbrich, was the one who found Shedeur Sanders' number off of his dad's laptop or iPad on a database that had all the draftees' phone numbers on them. He passed that number to a friend. They recorded themselves being hyenas calling Shedeur Sanders and pretending to be the Saints. They're not the only people who prank called these draftees. It's become a huge problem and kind of a scourge on the NFL. But, the Falcons fined $250,000. Jeff Ulbrich fined $100,000. Do you think the NFL is too heavy-handed there?
Yeah, I mean, if you actually look at it in comparison to his salary, which is $1.5 million per year reportedly, it's one of the biggest fines in maybe 10 years in the NFL. It's imagine players making $50 million. That would be like fining him $2 million. It's a gigantic fine. It's 10% of his salary.
Well, the coaches don't have a union, I don't believe. I think they do in the NBA, but I don't know if they do in the NFL.
I don't know.
I have to double check that.
But yeah, I was wondering, well, I mean, if it sounds like Jeff Ulbrich's just going to accept this fine.
Definitely.
But if he wanted to sue, I'm sure he'd been like, wow, you're fining me $100,000 for this, and look what this guy did, look what that guy did, and their fines. I saw a list, and I'm sorry I don't have it on social media, of some of the things that are way worse that the NFL fined way less.
Right.
Obviously personal conduct stuff. So yeah, I think it's a huge fine, and I know why the NFL is doing it. Like, they can't have this happen again. They were embarrassed, deeply embarrassed. But I felt like it was just too much for an assistant coach. If he was a head coach, maybe. But that's a big, big number.
Yeah, I understand people. Listen, I understand why the coach got fined, because this was his laptop, or maybe it's the company's, but this was on his personal property. This was at their home. It's not like the kid broke into his dad's office or was sitting around the office and this information was up. You have to protect that information, obviously, a lot more closely when you're at home. This could have been, I don't say anybody, not anyone's allowed inside your house, but I think this was a little more irresponsible, and I'm not taking any of this away from the kid, Jax Ulbrich. He's the one who takes the blame here, but the dad has to be a little more careful around his information. I don't understand why the Falcons got fined. What did the Falcons do?
Well, it was their laptop. It was their iPad, right?
Yeah, but how do they have control over what someone does on an iPad when they go home? Like, they
have to explain the security risk when they hand out that particular iPad, I imagine. And same with
And
Playbook.
I'm sure they did. Like that, I doubt they, we have, I have a company laptop, and we definitely have things that we can and can't do because IT puts walls up basically on stuff we can and can't download and things like that. I don't understand why the Falcons had to pay the brunt. They never were going to draft Shedeur. They didn't. They had nothing to do with this prank call scandal.
Did the Patriots get fined for Deflategate? Actually, I have to check that. I know they got fined, obviously, Spygate. That was an organizational thing. But Deflategate was presumably on Tom Brady if it happened. And I think the Patriots got fined for that, too. It wasn't them.
Well, and other employees. And it happened at the stadium.
But I guess. By the way, what's to stop? We say this like it's some incredibly unprecedented thing. There's every coach has a cell phone. Couldn't somebody crank call anybody now? Like now that we started this precedent, if you were, your dad worked for the Chiefs, couldn't you get into his phone and find Patrick Mahomes' number?
I remember actually there was a story a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys remember this one where somebody was calling a GM saying they were from a different team.
No way. I don't remember that.
I know. I remember actually because it happened to my Bills. And I remember the Bills calling back and being like, we would never mess around like that. No, we didn't call you. And someone was getting pranked and they thought that they were calling about a trade.
I mean, listen, this is a story we could all relate to because we've all getting these prank calls. And now that people are pretending that they're banks, like a lot of people are getting hit. I think that's another reason there was so much sensitivity to this.
Yeah, I just wonder how much do people think this is a big deal, right? I think there's a few people, and I know data breaches are extremely serious when you talk about, taking advantage of people, companies that get taken advantage of. But I think there's a lot of people out there who believe this is a bit of pearl clutching, like it was a 21-year-old dipstick kid who did this dumb thing that he immediately regretted and apologized for and is now going to do community service according to his dad, and he's going to he's gotten publicly shamed. He's going to pay the price. Shedeur Sanders was incredibly gracious about this. Shedeur took the high road. So Shedeur never looked bad. It was embarrassing for him, sure, but he doesn't look bad here. In fact, I think a lot of people commended him, including myself, for how he did seem to forgive this kid. And and can we all move on? I think there's a lot of people who think this is we're making a bigger deal out of this.
Well, I wonder with the penalty, are we playing the result in the sense that is the guy who called the number 3 pick facing the same penalty? For example, say Shedeur never happened and we found out somebody prank called Abdul Carter, which it did happen. And I think Drew Rosenhaus was involved. There's no way this furor would happen. This is because of the situation with Shedeur falling and it being the second most watched draft of all time and Mel Kiper and everything that happened. So you're being fined because of who it was and what it was, not because of what the kid did. If the kid had called Cam Ward, or actually Cam Ward went number 1, so I guess I was like, if he had called Jackson Dart, who went in the first round, there's no way. Nobody would be upset. They'd be slightly upset, but it would not be. It's because Shedeur fell to the 5th round.
Also, people don't like that you're calling him a kid. 21 people are saying that you should absolutely know better, which you should, but it doesn't mean you don't do stupid things when you're 21. And that's basically what Shedeur said. I do want to play one other thing for you, and you're welcome to call about the prank call scandal. 888-710-4ISN. How big of a deal do you think this is? Did it warrant a $100,000 fine on the coach and $250,000 on the organization? Let's play Andrew Barry, the actual Andrew Barry, the real life guy. This is not a prank. Calling Shedeur Sanders with pick 144 to tell him they were drafting him.
Hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, I know it's been a long weekend. We're going to take you off the board here, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you got to come in, you got to work hard, you got to earn your job, earn your keep. And it doesn't matter where you're taking, it matters what you do from this point forward, all right? Talented, spent a lot of time with you, a big kid. Let's get ready to go to work. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, I got Coach here right now.
Yo. What's up, Coach?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to see you.
Remember I told you the Lord works in mysterious ways, right?
No, for sure.
It's an opportunity, and we're going to get to work together, okay, buddy?
Like the Lord or the draft. But that's very funny. No, they're trying. I think this is very different, Pearl, than most of the draft phone calls that we hear. I think this one was notable, which is usually when guys get called, it's, hey, let's get to work. We can't wait to have you. We're gonna run the, it's all this really positive. Andrew Barry said you're gonna have to come in and earn your keep. I don't know how many 5th round picks they even say that to. I think they say you're coming in. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, it's so funny. I know some people had an issue with it. I saw Pac-Man Jones was very upset on social media. Here's the thing. First of all, they did draft him and stop the draft slide. This whole thing is the best thing that could ever happen to Shedeur Sanders. I'm being dead serious. Every great quarterback has adversity, and they learn how to adjust to that. Shedeur Sanders has played for one coach. The guy's this will be the first time he's ever had a QB battle in his entire life. He's always known, I'm going to start no matter what. This is his origin story. And I think the prank call added to it, and I think Andrew Berry was aware of it. Like, Shedeur Sanders needs tough love. And maybe I'm being patronizing by saying that. Unfortunately, because his dad was the coach, like, he really didn't go through what a lot of quarterbacks have gone through. So I think I kind of agree with Andrew Berry. It's like, we all know he fell. Like Andrew Berry said, everyone knows the story. There was a lot of noise out there about him. Shedeur heard it, Berry heard it, and he's saying, like, listen, we all know about the noise. Now it's your turn to make this into a positive. Let's go do that.
That's fine, and I could agree with you there, but nobody has ever uttered the words, a quarterback got drafted to the Cleveland Browns, and that's the best thing that could ever happen to him. That's just never happened. Well, and they don't have the track record to be able to have that kind of optimism. Maybe him falling, maybe he does kind of get the message now. Like, I was obviously thought I was a little bit better than I am, and there's a dedication to working and doing whatever it takes, right? Fitting in, whatever it takes, whatever that means or looks like. And he does find success. I'm certainly not taking that off the board. I just can't imagine it happening in Cleveland.
Well, that's probably true, but I don't think that. My point was that the adversity is good. I mean, listen, your guy Josh Allen didn't get recruited by anybody.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers had one half offer from Illinois and went to Butte College or something. Like Russell Wilson got cut for Mike Glennon. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Patrick Mahomes had a losing record at college, and you go on and on. All these quarterbacks face tough things. I think this could be the beginning of an incredible story for Shedeur. I do kind of agree, like, this is a tough spot in Cleveland because they want to draft somebody next year. But I think Andrew Berry was somewhat realistic and being like, let's do this. I think that maybe Shedeur needs to hear that. If he had called up and said, oh, man, we're so fired up, congratulations. Nobody's congratulating him now. He was supposed to be the number 3 pick, and he fell in the 5th round. Come on.
And they picked Dylan Gabriel 50 spots above him.
Yeah. I feel like there was an elephant in the room. I understand it. You're right. It's 100% different than most draft calls, but I don't know. Maybe
Come in and earn your keep.
I think maybe Andrew Berry had a hand in this. That's the big debate. Was it an owner call or was it Andrew Berry call?
I know what Mary Kay Cabot, who joined us earlier in the week, she said it was definitely Andrew Berry. I would then question, what's your strategy here of taking 2 rookie quarterbacks? 50 picks apart.
What they said was the value was too incredible. I think they have an asset in the building, maybe, and maybe trade one of them. That's the best you can do, or maybe it was the owner. I don't know the answer.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We got the Lakers. We've got the NFL prank call scandal that's led to some pretty heavy fines for Jeff Ulbrich and for the Falcons. And then also you heard that call there from Andrew Berry. What do you think of him telling Shedeur, you got to come in and earn your keep? 888-710-4ISN.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Three, two, one. What's the best one?
Life's so sweet. Oh. I was just a young boy, had dreams of gold and glory. Andrew Perloff started tale to tell. Thinks he's an Aussie, but you can never tell.
Living life in 20-second views. Scrolling through, he's got no time to lose. Maggie and Perloff, Daily's keeping score. YouTube's his love. He's begging for more. Double tap, clicking on that video. From sunrise to sunset, he never lets it go. Maggie snappy, Perloff's got a glow. Daily's hooked, He's looking for the show. Chasing trends, dailies on a quest. Comments pouring. Bogusch weeps. He's got the road trip blues. Left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose.
Andrew Bogusch was perked on top of this game, but Maggie and Perloff played a different name. Caught up with Kevin Bubber, the kicker of lore. But where was Peter Bellotti? He's out the door. Peter Bellotti, where could he be? All fun and adventure, sipping iced tea. Never at his desk, always on the run. Work's a suggestion, not something he's done. Bogusch is tired, he's done with the show. But Peter Bellotti's got places to go. Is he on a beach or... Oh, yo. L.O. Man, he's got a whip full bass swinging with flair. Behind the glass, he's waving it in the air. That bat's bright yellow, could do some harm. If he's not careful, it'll raise the alarm. EJ sitting close, looking a bit tense. He knows one wrong move could be at his expense. Man, he swings wild like he's aiming to score. EJ's ducking low. And he's got that hungry look, sitting down for breakfast like a king in a nook. Give me that croissant and make it fucking nice. And don't forget that fresh squeezed OJ is my bite. He's just ordering big, what a fucking sight. $30 on breakfast, man, it's out of sight. And you really love sweating, can't escape this shit. Lost for bet, no paying, it's a hell of a fit. Two eggs on the side and don't skip on the cheese. I want it all fresh, make me weak in the knees. And that fresh squeezed OJ, I want a fucking glass. Boy, high and mighty, let's make it go fit. EJ's ordering big, what a fucking sight. $30 on breakfast. EJ's the king and he's ruling this show. Maggie and Perloff gotta go with the flow. Fresh squeezed OJ, get it in my hand. Bow to your king, obey my command. But where's Peter Bellotti? He's gone again. The king's in power, but we're missing our friends. Andrew Bogusch with updates on blast. Gonzaga, Miami, and the Knicks kicking ass.
30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. The NFL fines Jeff Ulbrich, the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator, $100,000 because his son got into his iPad and crank called Shedeur Sanders. It's so bizarre. As the stories unfold, I can't believe how many guys got pranked. I'm really kind of shocked. And the NFL said it wasn't related to the Shedeur thing. So are there 9 other Jax Ulbrichs out there?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know if you can you find somebody who doesn't work. You know, you can't do anything unless the person has a connection to the NFL somehow.
Well, I think they had to get the number. The thought is that they had to be connected to the NFL.
I guess so, but I'm dubious that this is the only way that people get someone's number. And the only reason I'm saying that is because that Michigan defensive coordinator scandal that happened a couple months ago, where he was in Schembechler Hall hacking into women's phones who are like gymnasts from UCLA, doing that from Ann Arbor, Michigan, because there's like a database of college athletes phones. And he was getting in there to try to find salacious pictures and stuff because he's clearly, allegedly a big time creep.
Definitely.
So you can get numbers a lot of ways.
Well, also, say you have a friend who goes to the University of Colorado who's in a class with Shedeur. I'm sure the old-fashioned way, somebody could know somebody and give Shedeur's number out because.
This one they had the smoking gun though because he admitted it.
I'm a little confused.
And they had the video.
And we're still figuring out. Do they give them? They don't give them special phones for the draft, but this was not Shedeur's main number, right?
I don't know.
Shedeur's quite famous.
I thought they gave out phones, but I guess that's not necessarily true. I think they just are trying to constantly update the most up-to-date information. So it's on these kind of Excel spreadsheet type thing because it's a living document because they're constantly updating draftees' phone numbers.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I say Pro Football Talk said that there was a specific email that went out to this list that Shedeur had a new number that you should call for the draft.
Got it.
That's the story now. But I thought it was everybody got a draft burner.
That's what I thought.
And that one went away. And this the last update is that this was a specific email saying, please update Shedeur's number for the draft.
Yeah, Shedeur said he got the phone from Boost Mobile. I think
so he got burned by by a sponsorship deal indirectly?
By Boost out of all of them?
Boost Mobile, yeah. This is what I've read multiple times. He said it in one of the videos during that stream. He said that I got this phone from Boost Mobile. So I think the expectation is that these guys aren't using their actual personal phones, but obviously you can't assume that when you're giving out phone numbers, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to Dom, who's in California. What's up, Dom?
Hi. Thanks for taking my call, Maggie and Perloff. Good morning. I grew up in the day where dads had a heavy hand, and I couldn't imagine being this kid and waiting for the punishment to be levied. What do you think it should be? Should he have his wages attached for the rest of his life? Should he have to mow lawns and wash cars forever?
I mean, well, first, Dom.
No PS5 for a weekend?
Thank you for the phone call. Yeah, I don't know what the modern grounding is. Probably just taking away your phone. But here's the thing, Dom, about back in our day or your day or maybe when I was a kid or all that stuff. If you do something that is, that is stupid like this, the whole world doesn't find out. And now, granted, it's partly their fault that the world found out because they were dumb enough to videotape themselves. But clearly the public shame is going to be on this kid. I don't think he's getting a lot of high fives over. I mean, maybe he weirdly becomes a cult hero with his friends or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's going to have to do community service. The dad is clearly embarrassed. I mean, there's nothing worse as a parent than when your kid does something and you're like, oh, But
this is like wrecking that family car times 100.
Totally.
Like nationally embarrassing your dad, who already had a rough year last year.
Yeah, I mean, when you take over for the New York Jets and they get worse, it's tough. But, I mean, I think the kid, you're not going to know. You're not going to garnish his wages forever. You're going to hope that he learns his lesson on this one. And, maybe EJ said, call center for... You think he should have to do community service at a call center for, I don't know, a good cause?
You make it related to the crime or the punishment, right? And that's like, I think about it's in some ways a bad example because this guy had other issues, but I remember Penn State was having a lot of off-the-field issues with guys being drunk and belligerent out in the campus and causing issues. And Joe Paterno, what he had them do, he had them clean up Happy Valley after every game for the whole season. That was their punishment for a whole season, right? So it was like, oh, you guys want to be jerks and screw up the campus? All right, well, after our games, this is what the people who deal with this stuff deal with.
Right. It's a little like Michael Vick becoming a spokesperson for PETA.
Exactly.
It's like you live your apology. And I think maybe he does something like that. And he's 21, so he's got the rest of his life ahead.
I mean, you could force him to be a Browns fan. I should leave after that line. I'm done.
Listen,
hey, guys, have a great day. I'll see you on Friday. That's the best I got.
Look, we have a rule against, what is it, cruel and unusual punishment?
No, that's too far. 100,000, I could see that.
This is America, Perloff. You can't just do that.
The Constitution protects the Ulbrichs.
For now. Bogusch has headlines.
He was a Jets fan, by the way. It ain't that different.
Headlines are sponsored by Frank Finger MD. The last name says it all. Only fingers, no hands or forearms. Office hours and pricing at frankfinger.net. With the Lakers season over, courtesy of last night's 103-96 Game 5 home loss to the T-Wolves, It's time for LeBron to not answer questions about his playing future.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Something I'll sit down with my family, my wife, and my support group and kind of just talk through it and see what happens. And then just have a conversation with myself on how long I want to continue to play.
Wait.
So, yeah, please.
Is there any chance he retires? We haven't talked about that once. Is that?
I don't think so. I think this is, does he play just next year or more than next year?
Yeah, like, are we going to have that same conversation that we had last summer? Is LeBron going to retire? Is he going to come back? Does he want to play with Bronny? This, that, and the third. Are we going to have that conversation for another summer?
No, I'm not. I mean, Luka's here.
If you had to handicap it 0 to 100, Maggie, you
0. I think that he's deciding, does he want to just pick up the player option for the $51 million, or does he want to try to get the Lakers to give him an extension? You know, the Lakers gave Kobe that thank you and farewell, last contract. I know Kobe did a lot more for the organization, but they kind of have a bit of a track record of paying guys well past their prime.
Well, I'm going to give it at least 5 just so Manny doesn't cut that sound. Because what if he did retire? I mean, he's 40.
But then Bronny has to go.
No, the bigger thing is, to me, he wants a farewell tour. He wants rocking chairs and gifts. He's not going away in the offseason. He wants you to know he's leaving.
Yeah, he talked about how maybe he doesn't want that. That's ridiculous. I agree with Bogusch. He definitely does.
And also still very good, too.
Yeah.
He's very
his
good.
numbers are good, but he's not great anymore.
Can I tell you, I think the farewell tour, though, could backfire, because I think teams could take it as a, giving out a rocking chair. Who they did that? Mariano Rivera or Derek Jeter or something?
Yeah. Rivera got one with the broken bats.
Because of his cutter.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, does someone give LeBron James the full set of like the Hunger Games, box set?
Taco Tuesday kit.
Maybe like
a Rogaine or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say people can really get mean. Like people don't think he actually read those books. Do you give him the platinum Blu-ray edition of The Godfather, a movie he clearly hasn't seen but won't admit it?
Give him Just for Men.
Staying on that hair tip, huh?
These are the things people talk about with LeBron James. There's not much to talk about. He's a handsome, impressive man.
Billionaire.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
You don't think the Celtics are going to try? I mean, maybe not the Celtics. It'd be a little too on the nose, but you don't think someone's going to try to troll him with one of these gifts to get a headline?
Oh, yeah, but all good fun. I think
the Charlotte Hornets, maybe, because they need a headline.
Acting lessons?
Oh, no, would be the best one. The Bulls should give him an actual goat. Right. Just come out with a goat. Yeah.
Give him one of Jordan's jerseys.
Just say this is the closest you'll ever be to a goat.
Well, here, let me ask you a question. Wayne Gretzky was at Ovechkin's record game. Will Michael Jordan be at LeBron's last game?
Hell no.
No. I was shocked that Gretzky was there. Remember, I didn't think he was going to show.
Yeah,
it became personal with me.
He has no obligation. Kareem had an obligation to be there for the point scoring because he was passing his record. I don't think Kareem
and in
really
a Laker uniform.
Yeah, and in a Laker uniform. But no, there's no Michael Jordan. It's all right, join me on the golf course, kid, or man.
So LeBron had those questions lobbed at him because the Lakers, in part, couldn't take advantage of the T-Wolves going 7 for 47 from 3 last night. Rudy Gobert negated that with postseason career highs, 27 points and 24 rebounds.
He had 24 rebounds. Good. He was a dragon tonight.
Anthony Edwards, just as amazed as you are, now the T-Wolves...
Don't act so shocked. You guys have been teammates for 5 years.
24 rebounds? Oh, my God.
They're waiting now on the Rockets and Warriors, who are headed back to San Francisco for Game 6 tomorrow night because of Houston's 131-116 home rout last night. 26 points from Fred VanVleet, 25 for Amen Thompson, 24 for Dylan Brooks. Now a scary, insane scene last night in Pittsburgh. A Pirates fan fell out of the right field seats during the game with the Cubs. It was a 21-foot drop to the warning track. The man eventually removed on a stretcher, taken to the hospital. He was in critical condition on the last update. Pirates manager Derek Shelton saw it happen in real time.
Even though it's 350 feet away or whatever it is, I mean the fact of how it went down and then laying motionless while the play's going on. I mean but just it's extremely unfortunate. I mean, that's an understatement.
So I'll be honest, when I watched the video, I thought he went over on purpose because he's not like reaching for a ball or anything. Like
I thought he was going to be like reaching for a foul ball or a home run ball.
Nope. No. But people have sat around him are now saying that he was incredibly intoxicated and he was just getting up excited because of Andrew McCutcheon's 2-run double and like accidentally threw himself over the railing because he was that over the top and everything.
Yeah, when I first saw the video, that was my reaction as well. And the guy doesn't have a shirt off, so that's a telltale sign of him maybe being inebriated.
Oh, he's got no shirt on?
Yeah. And then I agree. It was a rip the other way, and just out of excitement.
But the ball was nowhere near
him. Yeah. And I guess he was just too drunk to realize that he was leaning forward, and the hand railing that he was leaning on was just incredibly short, and he just went over.
Oof. Yeah, a lot of people have died this way, right? over the years.
And at the Texas Rangers, that happened. A guy was.
I remember. Especially those old, like where I grew up with Veterans Stadium, there were some really dangerous stadiums. And there were a number of deaths of fans falling out. I always get nervous. I will not sit on the front row at the upper deck.
This is why I don't do heights. I'm not good with heights.
Me and you, Manny, we're on the ground.
Nope, level 200.
These daredevils go up high.
Some of these things are just so steep too. Now, away from this horrible thing, and we hope that he pulls through and everything turns out okay. But some of whether it's for a music show or whether it's for a sporting event, the stands are so steep. Like your Barclays Center where you call games sometimes.
Once. Thank you, though.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the upper deck there is it's like just like north or south of being a slide, like the staircase. Like it's just on like the correct trajectory that you don't just slide down it to get out.
Gravity doesn't do its thing.
Right.
You know what I always thought was crazy? The right field, and I might have it in left field too, at your old stadium, Shea Stadium, that thing was a mile in the air, and the seats were right next to the sky, basically.
Yeah, the upper deck at Shea Stadium was great.
It struck me as crazy dangerous because obviously Mets fans had to be super drunk to tolerate that team.
Moving on,
for
the
years.
Orioles took their rubber game with the Yankees 5-4 last night. I was going to mention the Phillies, but not now. And the Cardinals beat the Reds twice in Cincinnati yesterday, 6-0 in the afternoon, 9-1 at night. Odyssey NHL insider Andrew Perloff now reporting Alex Ovechkin is good.
And the power play starts now. Ovechkin scores! The face-off win to him. Bang, bang, see you later. Ovechkin makes it 1-0 Washington.
If the 897 regular season goals were enough proof, you had that from last night. John Walton, Caps Radio. Ovi starting Washington towards a 4-1 win over the Canadiens, taking that series in 5 games. The Panthers also done with the Lightning, winning their game 5-6-3 in Tampa. And the Jets down the Blues 5-3 for a 3-2 series edge. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. Asking you a question, is JJ Redick cut out for this? Lakers go down last night, losing the first round of the Timberwolves. We've got the details for you next.
I sincerely hope he whipped his kid's ass.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Lakers go home. LeBron James, Luka Doncic, JJ Redick, now Perloff pick up the pieces here and figure out how to get this thing, how to change the roster first and foremost to become more competitive in what is a gangbusters Western Conference. I want to play you a little JJ Redick sound from last night. Now, we brought you the story. Actually, can we start before the game? You guys still have that sound from the pregame press conference. I love getting a thumbs up from you over there. This is JJ Redick pregame. Now, listen, the question, a little bit clunky, asking if he's going to consult his assistant coaches, Pearl, on substitution patterns during the game because JJ Redick played his entire starting five the whole second half in Game 4.
As you watch the film, what do you recall about your thought process in the moment, sticking with the five you stuck with in the fourth quarter the other day? And is there an assistant or someone maybe that you'll lean on tonight, maybe to try to get some other guys involved if that opportunity presents itself?
Are you saying that because I'm inexperienced and that was an inexperienced decision that I made? Do you think I don't talk to my assistants about substitutions every single time out?
No, I just think there's a lot of coaches lean on their assistants in those situations.
As do I, every
on.
single time. That's a weird assumption.
Thank you, Coach.
He put the microphone down and walked away. Now, the interviewer actually could have just said the first part of the question. You look back on the tape. You saw, what did you learn from, not subbing your guys out when they look like they need to be carried out on a stretcher after. Probably could have just stopped it there. But it wasn't a terrible question. And J.J. Redick took it very personally, and he's storming out of a press conference probably an hour before you're taking the court.
Yeah, it's interesting that the interviewer added that little part. I get where JJ was. I get why JJ was offended. But, coaches, isn't it part of their job is to sit there and take it when they're losing and you don't walk out. It's so funny that JJ was in the media, and yet he's the most sensitive to the media coach in the league, arguably, right now. Maybe I can't think of anyone else who storms out.
Yeah.
Missoula's bizarre. I don't know what he's doing.
That's a totally different thing. Okay, so now the team loses, okay? And again, Redick forced to use a very, very tight rotation. Guys definitely look tired, including LeBron. Luka injured his back, got it banged up a little bit, so he looked bulky, all that stuff. J.J. Redick saying that the Lakers just missed too many shots last night.
The offensive part of it tonight in particular was we missed wide open threes. We missed a couple shots at the rim. We got good looks.
Yeah, none of that happens in a vacuum, right? This isn't a thing where you go, make or miss league. It's I think guys didn't have their legs underneath them, Pearl. Far be it, J.J. Redick knows more basketball than I do, but it seems like there's a clear correlation.
Right, but, the obvious argument is, who did he not put in? I'm looking at the people who didn't play last night. Markieff Morris, Wash, Alex Len, never had it. Jackson Hayes. That's a big controversial. But then Shake Milton, Bronny, Dalton Connect. I thought Dalton Connect was going to be an impact player this year. We were wrong about that. He doesn't really have the roster to do much else.
Yep. And that's going to be now on Rob Pelinka. Can I hear more from JJ? Cut 5, please, Manny, that he's going to have to look for a way for the team to get better this offseason.
I'll use my own thoughts to evaluate myself, and I'll use what my players say and what my coaching staff says to evaluate. But, I know I can be better, and I know I will get better. I don't necessarily take any satisfaction from how the year went. That's not to say I'm not proud of what the group was able to do and how we were able to figure things out on the fly.
See, the problem is you don't have a lot of time. If you really think that Luka and LeBron can actually win a title together. If this is just about Luka and J.J. Redick growing old together in this arrangement, and LeBron James and his title hopes are not a factor anymore, then fine, you've got plenty of time to figure it out. But if you are actually trying to win a title with LeBron, you've got next year probably.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. And also, you don't have that much roster flexibility. I like your wording earlier. Luka dropped out of heaven into their roster. They need another miracle. They need I don't know who it is. I almost wish we could ask, what's the one player that you could guarantee would put them over the top?
Well, it's the Lakers. We'll find out. Because the first will probably arrive on their doorstep.
Giannis jumps to mind, but they can't do that. So I don't know where this magical player comes from.
Let's go to the phones. Want to hit Nadal is our pal in Dallas. Nadal wants to talk about the other big story in sports today, not just the Lakers losing, but this prank call scandal that's happened in the NFL with the Falcons defensive coordinator's son pranking Shedeur Sanders. The coach got fined $100,000. The team got fined $250,000. Nadal, what do you think?
Good morning. Yeah, so some people may forget that the league is the franchisor and the teams are franchisees, right? So if you remember in the previous call, I had a couple restaurants in Kansas City, and we're franchised, and we have a corporate office just like the NFL. So if the NFL tells the franchisee, the teams, hey, you got to follow A to Z rules and protocols, otherwise, if not, you're going to be fined or whatever disciplinary action. And the franchisees can pass along that disciplinary action to the employees, or the corporate office can, fine them. So I completely agree with the fines. I totally think it's appropriate. The defensive coordinator, bless his heart, I feel so sorry for him as a father myself. It's a horrible situation he's in. But, it is totally appropriate. They got to be fined, both of them.
I guess here's how I would flip the question, Nadal, is just, yes, I understand there's protocols here and it's data, so it's very sensitive, but do they deserve it? Like, I'm saying Arthur Blank sitting there, the owner of the Falcons, like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. Now, it might be a protocol, but he kind of the Falcons, $250,000 is a drop in the bucket to them, but they kind of get the short end of the stick because they get so associated with this scandal when they had nothing to do with it. It's some kid outside the building, and it's Shedeur Sanders, who they never wanted. They were never targeting him.
Right. Maggie, I have employees. I can't babysit them. I can't hold their hands 24/7, right?
Yeah.
Neither can these coaches and the Falcons or any franchisee NFL team. They cannot monitor these players or their kids or their families, right? But it's all linked together.
Yeah.
It's not the NFL's fault. The NFL's like, hey man, it's not my problem that you can't control your kids.
Yeah.
You can't. This is very highly personal information, exclusively to the draft, like you guys mentioned.
And it also seems like someone needed to pay the price for the Shedeur part of it, because I think to Perloff's point, how much are they running down these other prank calls? And are people investigating Ty Warren, who got pranked, and Abdul Carter, who got pranked, or is it just
everybody should definitely be punished. Everybody. But I think, because Shedeur is such a big story nowadays, it's in the spotlight. But everybody should be punished. As far as the Lakers, if I may share a historic moment in my life.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds, dude.
Okay, last night I'm used to be a huge Lakers fan back in the day in the 80s. But my son's a huge Lakers LeBron fan. After the Lakers lost, he said, "Hey, bro, I'm done. MJ's the GOAT. I'm Jay's the GOAT. I'm sorry." And I shed a tear of joy. I was so happy. We had numerous debates, me and him, Kareem, my son, which, I didn't name him after Abdul-Jabbar. I named him after my dad. But whenever my dad annoys me in heated debates, I tell him, "Hey, Pops, I named him after Abdul-Jabbar, right? How do you like me now?"
I love that. Thank you for it. I'm sorry, we have to go. We're just up against it here. That's funny.
By the way, the Falcons have gotten fined more than anybody. I'm just looking at the Calvin Ridley, fake crowd noise, Bijan Robinson tampering with
Kirk Cousins.
This is just a normal write-off for Atlanta. No big deal.
Pull it together, Falcons.
What are we getting fined for today, guys?
Thank you, DJ Stewart and Manny Rodriguez. Thank you to Andrew Bogusch and Andrew Kaplan and the Weedos and the Coffee Drinkers. And we're back tomorrow to finish out the week strong. Join us.
That is a required ass whipping.